All right, we're live. Hey, so I'm John. I'm here with Chris today.
Hello.
Chris, sell the fucking rip trader at STFR Trader. You can see it on the screen overlay, our Twitter handles. Also, this is not financial advice. Also, I will be enjoying this Hazy Little Things IPA tonight while we go through some charts and talk about the goings on in the market.
I gotta pull you up on YouTube.
All right.
I forgot.
Yeah, no problem. No problem.
So, I was a little piggy today, and during market hours, and I got slaughtered, deservingly so. So I was watching the market, and after I had my little debacle this morning, and what happened there was I was all set to go live, and my mouse died, and then concurrently my system went down. It was like a multi-failure, and I was not happy, so I had to give up on the broadcast. Then I'm like, all right, well, let me get this thing going. So around noon, I finally got it squared away, and I'm looking at the market, and I looked at AXP, American
right.
Express.
Yeah.
And the market seemed to have some, bottoming to it. It looked pretty good. So I decided to get in 5 contracts, 2 strikes in the money. It was going to be a quick trade. And I was up $300 on 5 contracts, and I decided that wasn't enough. Well, the market said, fuck you, you greedy bastard, watch this. And it took it all away and then took some more. So I closed down $250 today on a day trade.
Yeah, it happens. These things happen. In fact, I just read some, speaking of day trades, I read this like horror story on Twitter a little bit earlier. It was this guy who had been day trading really heavy. I think he did like $45 million worth of turnover in his holdings. And he made like 45 grand for the year, right? So like he just made like a little bit. But he had an $800,000 tax bill because of wash sale rules. Like he didn't take care of the wash sale element of it. Like he never gave it a rest, I guess. And so when the tax year ended, it's just like, well, you can't declare those losses this year. You can't offset your gains with those losses this year. And it, dude, I mean, what a nightmare! What a nightmare!
I bet.
So yeah, I mean that's what I think of when I think of over trading. Now I'm thinking of that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, So speaking of getting greedy, like something I've been working on is I've been studying hard people who have been doing well in this tough environment, and they're not trading my style. They're using a style where they're generally playing from a cash basis, and they're tightening up their profit targets, and they're also tightening up their stops. And so they're swinging for singles right now, and the way that they trade, they're not getting caught off guard because they're not carrying they don't have big commitments already. And so when you already have big commitments, that's when you can get rug pulled. But if you don't have big commitments, then you can take advantage of opportunities. So this is a theme that it's big with me right now. Is I'm trying to say be picky. I'm trying to remind myself be picky. And so one thing I want to start doing, and we can do it on this show, is I want to start like grading these chart setups. Like when we look at a chart, like is this an A? Is this an A chart or is it a C chart? And really, if we start doing this and get in the habit of it, like really, I mostly just want to be doing the A setups. Because if I think back to, looking back, it's tax time, right? Everybody's looking at their big trades over the last year.
Right.
And the losers too. And when I look back at my trades, it's like, if I just had the winners, I mean, not even like all the winners, but just a like few handful of big ones, the ones that were like when they happen too, it's like it's a screaming setup. It's like if you were to grade that setup, you would say it was an A. And those are the ones where, I mean, they were, when I say home run, I mean just like insane home runs, like more than 10 baggers. In one case, I had a trade go up. Well, it was that GameStop trade. I had that one just in a few days go up at one point over 100%. I mean, not 100%, 100 times the money I put in. And so,
wow.
In looking at these charts, you can kind of know when that's going to happen. So if I can filter really well using discernment and just focus on being in those trades and kind of leave behind a lot of the other ones that just take so much of my focus. They take my concentration. They put me into losses when the market flips around. Maybe it's just IV flipping around, right? But if they put you on the back foot, then you can't strike,
Right. The largest trade I've ever done is 1,000%.
That's huge. That's a big gain.
Yeah, it's a 10 bagger.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I had serious money, at least for me, in a silver trade. I told you about this trade. I talk about it on the show sometimes. And that was one of the first options trades that I had done that worked out really well, but didn't play out the way that I thought it would go. And there's some lessons in there. Like I bought these contracts for super cheap, and I had like the bulk of the open interest for I don't know, over a month. And I mean, it was just sitting there just as dead money. Like I didn't even need to be in it that soon. What I really needed to do was just be really precise about the timing of my entry and not worry about missing it because I was too late. And so, what I'm learning as I look back at some of these winning trades is there was plenty of time to get in as it's happening, as these breakouts are happening, as these turning points are happening. There's plenty of time, and so I think it's better to be late than to be early, because if you're late, here's the thing: like there's still some people who are going to be way off sides. Like on those great trades, the baby's been thrown out with the bathwater. That has already happened, and it sits like that for a while. So anyway, I'm going to try and put up another overlay with some of these reminders, like be picky, better to be late than early. This kind of stuff.
Yes.
And,
I know exactly
and
what
rate
you're
the
talking
setup.
about, and that's great.
Yeah, so this is me trying to be like a better options trader. I'm fantastic with the macro stuff a lot of the time, not always. And with some of the big trend trades, like I could do that very well. But for me, becoming an A+ options trader like that, for me, it's a journey. Like I'm not there yet.
That's something that I'm going to do with my website. Like my editing software is when I do webinars, I am going to have this software where I can write on my screen, post post editing. I'll be able to write on the screen. I'll be able to have lists. I'll be able to have a whiteboard, like a more professional setup. So yeah, I feel where you're coming with that on the lists.
Yeah, having like a pre-flight checklist for every trade, and like, is this really an A setup, or is it like it might become an A setup? Because if it might become an A setup, then don't be early. Better to be a little late. And so, it's like one thing I want to look at today is Viacom, and when we look at that, like you said it. We were talking about this over the weekend. You said it looks to me like it wants another down day. And I'm like, wow, really? And you were right. It put in another down day, and that was yesterday. And then today, I didn't catch it near the second half of the day. I wasn't paying attention to that. But what you and I spoke briefly yesterday, I mean, not so briefly, but. Anyway, one of the things that we had talked about was watching Viacom for it to really put in the technical bottom. Let that chart pattern form. And so I want to take a look at that and see, like, is that chart pattern forming? Like, there's clear resistance at 50. I think it's okay to, like, maybe kind of let it get to 50 and then get in. I mean, I don't, it just depends how you structure it. So there's another lesson I have learned from my best trades this year that were in options, or I should say over the last over the trailing 12 months, or TTM as it's otherwise known. Another one of those lessons learned is, I'm in one calendar way too often, and what I need to do instead, like you see these guys leave runners, and I don't like that so well. That doesn't really sit well with me. But if I instead play at diagonally across multiple calendars, what that does is it bakes in some profit taking as we get to the earlier calendars. And so then all you have to do is just roll up on those calendars if you want to reduce the risk. And then when it comes due, then you're out. I like to plan the trade in and kind of like bake it from the beginning in that way. And so we'll look at some specific examples a little bit later, because I have a few specific examples that I wanted to look at. But yeah, let's talk about Viacom for a minute.
All right, I'm putting a bottom finder on it.
Okay, so hey, by the way, I think I might have fixed some of my screen issues on this stream. I had HDR on my computer because I just went to the store and I'm like, hey, I got a bunch of money, build me a kick-ass computer, and they did, and I just like got it out of the box. It was a custom computer they made for me, and like settings like that, they made it so that I could play gaming on it, and I don't really care that much about that. I mean, I got some games, but that's not really what I'm doing right now. And so like some of those gaming settings are like interfering with the stream, including this like HDR thing. So I got that turned off. Hopefully it looks like your screen is keeping up now, Chris, without me doing all this fiddling with it.
I see that. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, and I think when I show charts, I think it's gonna like come through clear. Like is that chart looking clearer than ever? You'll see it in a second. Yeah. It should come through.
No, the lag is a lot less. I'm watching it in real time.
Yeah, it looks like it's real time. Yeah, so see that chart? It's like coming through clear instead of washed out color.
Yep.
All right, yeah. Cool. So we got those problems solved. I mean, it's been like a journey to get through all those problems, but we're getting there. All right, so go ahead. Let's analyze this Viacom. I mean, by the way, like there's no guarantee it's going to go up either. I mean, looking at the chart like this, it almost looks like a bear flag, which is just incredible.
Well, yes, it does look like a bear flag, and it depends on what the RSI and the Bollinger percent is going to do. So I like the fact that the Bollinger percent has created a curl to it. And I also like the fact that the RSI, my 8-period RSI, is following suit almost symmetrically.
Yeah.
And the market forecast, this little green one, I don't know what it does, but I follow the line. It hasn't. It's almost in the oversold area. Like once it breaches that yellow strip down there,
yeah,
that'll be it. It'll be ready to go up.
Yeah, so, it looks like we're basically kind of there. So, I mean, at this point, like one thing to do is like start zooming in. And for stuff like this, I mean, I'm looking at even like 1-minute bars and 5-minute bars. And normally for stuff that's moving slower, I'm looking at like 10 or 15-minute bars, like on SPY and stuff like that. But I mean, this thing's really moving. So probably 5-minute bars would give it a good picture intraday. At least for me. I mean, everyone has a different preference.
With this oscillator, if you notice that it comes back up and the market forecast or that green line doesn't follow suit, then you're going to have a double bottom. It won't be a V bottom.
Yeah, I got you. So you're looking for that green line to bounce.
Right. Well, you could catch a bounce. You just have to remember that, it's only going to bounce so much, like maybe 23 or 38% on your Fibonacci tool, as opposed to getting a 50 or 61 retracement. So here's your 15-minute chart look, John. And it don't look good.
Yeah, exactly. It's that to me, it doesn't look like a tight base. It
No,
looks like
it doesn't look like it's going to go up. It doesn't look like it's going to go down. It looks like it's sick.
right. Yeah.
So it's going to have another sideways day, and I'm still in it. The reason I'm still in it is because it hasn't committed to up or down. So if you remember during the last podcast, I said I'm going to need some type of conviction on these trades for me to get out because I have enough time and I have enough faith in the trade itself.
Yeah, I mean, this is like an extreme situation, and these kind of things are rare, and there are opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
And so I
Yeah.
think buying the right amount of time is good. And I want to look at some diagonals on this. And I know that I think you said you structured your position kind of similarly, where you got a strike close by, a strike on a close by calendar, and then on a further out calendar you have a higher up strike. And that's the kind of thing I'm talking about with diagonals, because what can happen, and what often happens in situations like this, is that the options pricing algorithms that are setting those bids and asks, I mean, they're essentially like just throwing away those call options at certain strikes. And depending on how far out on the calendar it is, they're higher up the further out you go, but they're there across all these different calendars. And so when I talk about spreading out across calendars diagonally, that's what I'm talking about. So let's look at an example.
Okay. So you want me to go to trade, or do you want to throw up your screen?
Yeah, I'll put it on my screen first, and then
Okay.
And I'm actually going to use Strategy Builder and look at it as a combo. So think of this as like a hybrid position, or like
Okay.
it's
I still like this chart. I think it looks great to me, but that's just me.
the Viacom thing. Oh yeah,
Yeah,
I do too.
I love
mean,
this
this
chart.
is a huge opportunity here.
Yeah.
So I'm looking at calls, and this is too far out on the calendar. I want to look at the April 1st is like really right around the corner, and looking at that chart, it's not set up to rip. It doesn't mean that it won't. Like a fundamental news driver could drive this higher. We were seeing headlines this morning that some of these stocks that were part of this sell-off are announcing big share buybacks, because they're basically saying like, hey, we think that the company's saying that the shares are a buy, basically.
Right. Can you zoom into those strikes with OBS?
I can look at the charts on them, yeah, if you want.
No. I meant the strikes themselves. Do you have the ability to zoom in on what you're doing with your cursor?
Like on a chart or something?
No. Like with OBS, that software that you use, can you can you tell OBS while you're live streaming to zoom in on your cursor?
Yeah, I see what you're saying. I don't know about that. There may be a filter for that.
All right.
But that's not something that I've messed with.
Yeah, I'm looking for video editing software that can edit in real time. So I didn't know if OBS could do that. I did read up on OBS though.
Yeah, OBS is nice so far. I mean, I've had some tweaks with it, but really it's just like learning curve for me more than anything. All right, so let's add the 50 to the combo here for April 1st. Although, like, I probably wouldn't. This is just for the purpose of analysis. I mean, there's only 2 days to go on this, and it doesn't really look set up. But I do want to analyze it this way, though. So then, we're going to come out and find a similarly priced option on the next week out. And the reason we're looking at cheap options is because we're looking at the ones that have been thrown away. So I talked about this the other day. Like, think about this as from the eyes of a distressed asset investor. They're looking in the trash can. And when I had just had the chart of this up a minute ago, like, you'll see what I'm talking about when I talk about we're rooting around in the trash can here for stuff that's being thrown away. And so let's go out one more, and then we'll be done. So, by the way, if you go out all the way to April 23rd, there isn't much in the trash can. Like, I'm not finding options that are 50 cents until I go all the way out to 67.5. I mean, this one's better. Let's just go with the 65, which is 63 cents. It's a little more expensive. But these things are in the trash can. And when we look at, so first of all, let's look at this graph. So for an investment of $250 here, assuming you pay ask, this is your profit potential. And if this thing has a rebound, which is very unlikely to have a rebound in your time frame, this chart is only showing for 2 days, guys, or 2 or 3 days. And so after that, your nearest option rolls off, and it knocks your upside down a bunch. So anyway, that's almost why I didn't really want to have it on there, that very first one. In fact, let's knock it off of there, the April 1st one, and then look again. Okay, so now it's cheaper, $183, and this is the kind of upside you can have. So, by the way, some of my best trades over the last year were they were options like this, and I was not buying out across the calendar like this, like what I'm showing now. In fact, since we knocked off that early one, let's add another one if we can further out. There may not be anything in the trash can. Here's one all the way up at 70. I mean, that's way up there, but why not? Let's just add it. Okay.
I don't know what that is. I just tried. I was trying to follow along with my risk. It's called Risk Trade, I guess, on my software, and I can't get that graph. I cannot get that graph to. I just don't know how to do it.
Yeah, that's okay. You know what? Maybe offline, you and I can sit down, try and figure out, the similar tools on your side, because I'm sure they're there.
No, I think you should. What I'm getting at is, I think we should set aside a day, maybe a weekend, where you could teach me online. So then, therefore, you would be teaching your subscribers online how to do this, because then we'll all benefit from it.
Yeah, sure.
Because it sounds easy enough. I just don't know what the hell I'm doing. And I don't know if your subscribers do or don't, but for those that don't feel bad. I have no fucking idea how to do this either.
Right. Well, it's just I don't know how to use those tools you're using either. So, it's really helpful for me to watch you use them. So here's a quirk of IB too. If we want to see the chart for this, you can actually look at the chart for this combo. This combo is just a diagonal. It's just like a bull diagonal is what this is. And, essentially, what we did is we found all the options that were in the trash. And, with the idea here that, this is distressed. It's a coiled up spring. And, we could put the market makers on the wrong side of this if they were wrong to throw these away for so cheap. And here's the other thing. How are you going to delta hedge these things if you're a market maker? I mean, they're 50 cents. I mean, they're if this thing bounces big, they're caught off guard. They can't delta hedge it fast enough. So there's a real phenomenon here that we're trying to exploit. And all right, so hang on. Let me add this to quote panel. And so now up here, you'll see we can render a chart of this now. I don't know how to do it without adding it to the quote panel. If we go to new chart, then now look at this. So when I say we're looking for these options that are in the trash can, we've found options across all these different calendar strikes that collectively trade like this. And just look at them getting thrown away into the trash. They're not really going to get much cheaper than this, without becoming worthless. So they're right there on the brink. And, you don't want to buy this garbage unless you have reason to believe that this thing really is going to bounce. How do you do that? You zoom way in on the charts and you look for setups. So when I talk about setups, I'm talking about cup and handle chart pattern, or a false breakout to the downside, followed by consistent pressure to the upside. We saw that today in AARK. So I'm going to show you in AARK intraday what one of those setups looks like. So here's AARK on the 15-minute. And Chris and I were talking about AARK quite a bit yesterday on the phone. And what we were talking about is this 110 level, which this is this 109, 110 area in AARK. This happens to be a support zone out on longer time frames, not just for AARK. But if you also look at XBI, which is the biotech, you can see it right there too. It's hanging on by its fingernails right there. Tesla, also has this like similar support level. So this is showing across all kinds of things right now. And so, here's the reversal setup. Okay, it made a false breakdown at the open underneath there. It punched through it just briefly at the open, but then it didn't hold and it recovered. Now this doesn't have to happen at the open. Okay, I'm going to show you another example of this happening to the upside. But the point is, and then it had this consistent pressure higher. It based a little bit and it closed near the top of the day. Like, this is strong. This is now making a base. If you notice on the short term, there's like a cup and handle bottom here. Now, will it go higher? I don't know, but that's a reversal setup. So when I talk about setups, this is the kind of thing I'm talking about. There are other setups that we're going to talk about. Another one is the close is getting real tight. But let's stick with these false breakouts here, and I'm going to show you. I talked about this one plenty of times on the show. Is Tesla on the daily chart right here at 900 at $900.40? That is a false breakout. It breached the high from back here in January. I hope you guys could see this okay on my screen. I think probably
I see it.
You could see it okay.
Yeah, you're looking at
I
ARK,
can make
right?
these bars bigger.
You're looking at ARK, correct?
Yeah, I just flipped over to Tesla. So my voice is ahead of your screen.
It's pretty much the same.
Yeah, so Tesla's doing all these strong rises, and then look at this. The prior peak was here at 884. It did this false breakout, and then look, consistent pressure the other way, and then it kind of like consolidates and then breaks down. And this was a major breakdown. I was talking about this back in January, February when it happened on the show. And, I shorted this and made a bunch of money. So, this is an example of, these false breakouts. Now, it doesn't, here's the thing. You have to be careful about these because sometimes it'll just be part of a rising channel and the pressure will consistently apply to the upside and it can then break out to the upside. So you have to be careful with this. And again, it's better to be late than early. Look at all this time you had to position short before it broke down, before it really broke down. So that's what I'm talking about on these setups. Like the great setups, the A setups, if I'm grading them, they give you plenty of time to get positioned. So you don't need to be in a hurry and you don't need to be early. So anyway, let me close all this out now.
I agree with you. And that's a fault of mine.
Yeah, and that's why we're doing this. We're self-reflecting. We're trying to be better traders. This is a really hard environment. People are getting crushed right now. And so, the good news about that is like the great traders are going to take a lot of lessons from that. They might take some losses. They might not. They might be on the sidelines. But, this hard environment, it teaches you. It's a great teacher. But you have to listen. You have to look for those lessons.
Right. You were talking about Tesla, so I threw it up.
Yeah, and you've still got that target painted there. Where
I
it's
do.
Yeah, it's likely to drift down to that zone.
Yeah, I also have the wedge.
Yep.
I created the wedge on the 1 hour. You could still see it on the
it broke out kind of broke to the upside on that because guess what? It had that false breakdown like we were talking about that was visible on ARK.
What, Liam?
So that green arrow at the bottom you have there, that's the false breakout, the false breakdown that happened this morning that I was talking about with ARK. Great setup. It was a really great setup.
You took that trade?
No, I didn't take that trade. I should have, but I didn't. Here's the reason I didn't, because I already have a big position on, and it's in ARK. So,
okay.
The position I have is the I'm long the 110 put, and I'm short the 116 put. It's a bullish position in ARK, and it's when I saw that reversal happen, I'm like, I'm good. I'm already in this trade.
Yeah, ARK's got an outside day.
Yep.
I did not expect ARK or Tesla to pop today, but they did.
Yeah, and it's because they tried to break down and it didn't hold. As soon as it didn't hold, it was on. So anyway, yeah, I'm already essentially in that trade without necessarily putting on a new position because my ARK that it's a credit spread in ARK that expires this Thursday, and it was part of a bigger combo. It was actually a combo that was a butterfly combined with an iron condor. And I already covered the short calls on the butterfly side. That's also the other side of the iron condor. I already covered that. But the calls that I'm long on that side of it are worthless. So, I mean, I don't know if anyone watching was watching also when I talked about that trade. So I've had it for like 2 or 3 weeks. I actually rolled it once.
Your ARK trade.
Yeah.
Cool.
And so if ARK closes above 116, then I'm golden. Like the credit spread does for me what I need it to do. But if it closes on the other side of it, then I'm looking at some losses all the way down to 110. That's where my losses are capped. I mean, I like it. I feel pretty good about it right now, but there's only a few days left.
It looks like your next, if it keeps going, it looks like you're getting up to 123. That's your next support resistance line. 123.
So we'll see what happens with it, but. Yeah, I'm trying to slow down my my trading and just not really take much stuff so that when the
you see how it respected that 78. It's not
yeah I'm looking at it. Yeah, I see.
You could see it. They can't.
Are you sure? No, they.
Yeah, I'm looking at YouTube.
It's probably delayed.
Yeah, it's coming now.
Yeah,
it's coming right now.
And so, by the way, like the reason for the delay, just in case anyone's wondering, it's not to delay it. It's so that there's enough time for the quality of the video to happen. Like if I try and have it be real time, then the problem there is we'll sacrifice the video quality, and you can't read all the numbers on the charts and stuff as easily. So hang on one second. It's getting warm in here.
So you guys saw where I waved my cursor back and forth on that double bottom right there. That's sitting at the 78 retracement, and 78 is not a consolidation point. That's a bounce point. So this usually the 618 or the golden number, it'll get there, it'll sit there, and it'll consolidate and try and figure out where the hell it's going next. But the 78 and the 50 are usually bounce points. Now, they may create a double bottom, but the 50 is usually more of a V bottom, and anything lower is double bottom or, flagging.
Yeah, so I mean, those levels are like really working on this one. It's really responsive to those levels.
Yeah. Yep.
Interesting.
All right, so what do you want to do next?
Let's see here. Yesterday people wanted to see CCIV, so let's talk about that one because that's similar to Tesla as far as it's an electric vehicle.
Oh, is that an outside day?
Yeah, looks like it.
It looks like it, don't it?
Yeah.
Just barely. That's a hell of a gap to fill.
It's hard to believe these things are hanging on. It's so tempting to think that like the bear market is finally here for this stuff, but I mean they're hanging on.
Yeah, it's crazy. I'm finally bullish, and there's a bear market lingering.
Yeah.
Bigger timing, right?
Hey, what's that dotted line that you have on the chart?
You remember I told you about the yesterday about the 34 SMA that I like to use?
Oh, yeah, that's what that is.
I have it on.
Yeah, boy, it's really reacting to that level when it hit that, didn't it? In March 15th.
Yeah. That's my mean reversion tool.
Yeah, so I mean that's your upside target. The thing about this is like it's carving a base right now, maybe, Like if you're in this,
Mm,
you're trying to like essentially catch the bottom. If you're going into it now, if you're holding it now and you've been holding it, then probably I would say you'll hold it through anything.
yeah, yeah. It looks good. It looks like it's bottoming out.
Yeah, it kind
Especially
of
with an
reminds me
outside
of how
day.
Palantir looked like a month or two ago. PLTR.
Working on it. Mm, yeah, it looks like an ugly Head and Shoulders to me.
Palantir, yeah. This one, it's got so much hype, and I'm not sure why. Like, it's just I look at this and it's a really choppy chart, and I don't know. I don't see a base here other than like maybe it's making a bottom just alongside CCIV. It's really hard to say. Probably the best gauge for that.
Okay, don't hurt.
Trying to think what that might be.
Look at that. It's almost like a Fibonacci curve. Look at that, y'all. It comes up, and the price action comes to here, and then it comes up to here where the gap is, and it starts curving down, and it touches it here. Is it going to touch it coming up here?
Yeah.
Or is it going to just follow it down and meet it? But that's pretty damn cool.
Yeah. Hey, I'm going to put a daily chart of that up with Bollinger Bands on it because I want to see where those Bollinger Bands are. Because one thing it could do is even though this is like a key support level that it's trading at, if it doesn't hold, it could just hug that lower Bollinger Band lower. Like that's what happens in bear markets. These stocks just hug their lower Bollinger Bands like all the way down.
Right.
And I mean, they have big bounces along the way. Let's see here, CCIV. Yeah, those bands are so wide. If it made a new low, it would be at the lower Bollinger Band.
You hitting me right now? Just hitting me.
I'm waiting on your chart.
Okay, it should come up in a minute.
Yeah. There it is.
So I'm not
Tesla.
in CCIV. I'm not in Palantir right now. Here's what I will say. If you're going into these right now and this is the low, you're going to look like a genius. But you're probably going to have to wait a while for that to materialize. That's the problem with going in now. This is not an A+ chart setup that I see. Because I don't see the setup. I see like, okay, there's a support level there. You could trade off that. You can even try and invest off that. But
I'm still looking at CCIV.
I mean, you could put in a low-risk entry because you know where to put your stop. The problem is there's going to be a lot of stops there, too. Like, at 20, 21, somewhere around in there. There's going to be a lot of stops there. So, I mean, if you want to take a low-risk entry, put a stop loss under it, if you're going in on the equities or something, that's a way you can do it. I mean, I used to do trades like that all the time. I do them a lot less now.
Are you talking about CCIV or are you talking about
CCIV?
Oh, I thought you were talking about PLTR.
Well, I mean, it's the same setup, though. You could do the same thing with PLTR right now. The setup is it's a trader setup. It's you go in with like a 10% stop or a 15% stop or whatever it is. Like here, let me show a technique. So
Like a trailing
ATR
stop.
here on this. Look at the daily ATR. It's the 14 period ATR is $3.58. And so right now it's at $23.51. So it's one ATR above this low. So if you set your stop like just under that, you're risking one ATR, and you could position size based off of that, so that you know what the loss is. Anyway, you would probably want to try and catch it on a down, so that one ATR away is underneath that support level. And that was what people were seeing today when it did that reversal. That's why it's going up, because people are putting on that trade in these kind of things. And they've all got that tight stop loss. But if it doesn't go down there, it doesn't matter that those stops are there. Because there's enough people buying that they can't push it down to hit those stops, right?
I don't know why, but I just came up with a song. You know the song "Putting on the Ritz"?
You can hit me.
Which one?
From back in the putting on the Ritz from back in the 80s.
I got him.
I don't know. I might recognize it if I heard it, but I don't know.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna see if I can create a spoof of that and call it putting on the Ritz.
Putting on the risk. Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
Wait, what?
All
That's
right,
weird.
what should we look at
That's
next?
weird.
Oh, we've got a comment. Michael Izari says, share price for TME will not go up until summertime, despite the 1 billion buyback, in my opinion. Let's talk about TME.
Okay.
So I have some calls in TME that got wiped out on that drop. And you can see why I was in it, because it was making new highs. I'm like, oh yeah, this is great. This looks safe. It's at new highs.
No.
Did he say new highs or did he say it won't go up?
He's saying it will not go up until summertime, despite the $1 billion buyback, in my opinion. Because, I guess TME was one of the companies that announced the buybacks because it got hammered down so low. Well, yeah, I mean, there's a lot of room in there for it to, like, trade in a range and make a base. I mean, that technical breakdown is so severe that I agree with you. Like, it's not gonna be making new highs again for a long time. If it does that, I would be shocked. I would be so shocked if TME starts making new highs. I mean, I got these calls that they're so worthless now that, like, I mean, there's no point in me even selling them.
Yeah, no.
I see. 2447 by the 8th or around the 8th.
Yeah, but when you're at 30 and racing to 40 fast, and now it's like, well, we might be able to hit like 28. It's like it's a big difference.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm not saying that it can't go back down because I do believe that it will do a double bottom. It's not showing me any strength, but
yeah,
I don't see any reason why
I'm not
it can't come
interested
up.
in
because
stocks that
look
are
at all that
broken.
space. Look at all that space between the next level, right?
Yeah, I mean there's room for a trade here. That's what I was gonna say. Like, I'm not interested in this for anything but a trade.
Yeah, no, I'm not going to buy and hold this thing. I don't buy and hold, but all right, so let me get rid of this.
Yeah, I mean, there's kind of some wisdom to that, and like maybe I didn't appreciate that enough.
So that's your level.
Yeah.
In my opinion. If he's talking about new highs, I completely concur. But there's a good $3 trade here. What is it? What's the spread? Oh wait, it's April. The spread's not that bad. The deltas looks good. The gamma is where the fuck is my gamma? I don't have gamma on here. Data delta open interest. No, I don't have gamma. Huh. All right, let's get gamma on there.
Hey, while you're bringing that up, Chris, I'm going to bring up the 5-minute chart for TME. I want to look at that one.
Okay.
I'm super curious now. Yeah.
Okay, gamma.
Let me start with a 15.
Yeah, gamma looks good too. Gamma looks real good. Those are some good numbers.
Yeah, I mean it is kind of starting to trade tight, but there's resistance here at like 23. 22 is the resistance level. It's very similar to what's the one we were just looking at? VIAC at 50. For this one, it's got a similar resistance level here at like 22.
So you think that the bottom of that gap back in January is going to be the line, the SR line?
Let me take a look.
What's your reasoning behind your thesis about it not going up until summer?
Yeah, I'm not sure if Michael's still watching. If he is, I'll watch in the comments if he puts something there. So I mean, his time frame is probably quite different from yours.
Could
But
be. He could be looking at weekly.
yeah, let's look at the weekly. Yeah, I mean charts like this that are just broken so bad. I mean they need a lot of time to repair to base and repair this damage. And so when I'm looking at this, like yeah, it's snapped and it's down a lot, but I'm still looking for. I mean, if it flags sideways real tight like it did today for like a lot of days, then it gets interesting. But just one day of this is not enough in my view. I mean, it can do anything, but depending on what time frame you look at it, like this to me on an hourly chart looks bearish. It's like, okay, it already had the bounce. The knife catchers got their bounce, and now it looks like it's rolling over again. So I mean, it really depends on your time frame. And what happens in a bear market is you get wave after wave of selling that looks just like what got started here. So, and so far, the indexes are holding up. ARK, not so well, but the indexes are holding up because of things like XLI. We were looking at these on the show last time. XLE, so the utilities, the industrials. I saw a really funny tweet. Somebody tweeted out. It was John Deere, and it was Elon Musk SpaceX. Space rocket, and then they like pasted over it a John Deere tractor, and they're like, it's going to the moon. And anyway, really funny. But stocks like this, they're kind of holding the whole thing up right now. It's the industrials are the new tech, and so this goes back to sector rotation. I mean, eventually these will sell off hard too. What it may take for these to sell off is for the entire market to get really weak. I don't know. It's hard to say. Let me check my notes here. I don't think we talked about XLB.
Hang on a second. I want you to see something on the TME.
On TME. Okay, go ahead.
Look at my screen.
Yep, I got it.
and look at my my 34 SMA.
Yeah, so it's a support coming up underneath it.
That was it. If you project it out, so this might be a little bit high.
Yeah.
If you project it out, then maybe here. So maybe he's right. If you follow this 34.
That's like what, end of May? Yeah, that's about what he was saying.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'm leaving that there anyway because I want to know why
Okay.
why I found that.
Yeah, I haven't seen him reply yet, so I don't know if he's still tuned in right now. I mean, there's a lot going on YouTube right now. You got a million choices. Watch anything you want. So
yeah.
People come and go.
No, that's fine.
Yeah.
All right, so what's the next one?
Next one. I wanted to look at XLB because this goes along with. I think we looked at ITB and IYR, but I don't think we looked at XLB the other day. And this is another one that's it's a sector that's strong. Now, I mean, I'm not going into this, but
okay, I gotta get rid of this thing. Hold on a second.
Oh yeah, you've already been looking at this.
No, I need to hold on a second. I just gotta.
Oh, you have a study on there. You want to remove it?
Yeah. There we go. Okay. No, I have never looked at this.
Yeah. I mean, so it's run up strong, and I mean, I don't know how much gas is left in the tank right there without some consolidation.
Mm-hmm.
But
anyway, this is a great trade. Trading.
It's in a channel, I mean, you can trade that channel.
What's the options look like? Oh God, they're ugly. maybe it's because it's
Oh,
overnight.
it's not. It doesn't have much liquidity. Yeah, that
I'll
could
have
be.
to I'll have to look at it in the morning.
Yeah. Well, don't force a trade here just because we talked about it. And you know what else you could do, Chris, is let's go over to Yahoo Finance, and I'm gonna look at the holdings in XLB. And a lot of times you can find that there's a stock in the ETF that it dominates the ETF. It has basically the same chart, and it's much more liquid. So let's see here, XLB. Freeport McMoran, FCX is in there. That's interesting. I'm going to look at Freeport. I'm pretty sure the options are super liquid on Freeport. Yeah, it's a little different chart, and it's getting choppy. That's the other thing I don't like about this. Look at how choppy those bars are now.
Yeah.
It looks like
just
it's running out of
down
gas.
with-
I mean, any kind of base happening here, it's going to be a late stage base. All right, well, let's move on from XLB. XLP, let's look at that one. It's a consumer staples, also super strong, holding the indexes up. Had a big down day today, though.
Yeah, after being overbought.
Yeah, I mean, are you seeing how like strong that thing was?
Mm-hmm.
That's an inside bar too, isn't it? Yeah, barely.
Yeah, it is an inside bar.
Yeah, but that's super wide range on this. So anyway, like the breakout here already kind of happened. So
Oh no! I'd trade this. I will trade this.
okay, yeah, I mean XLP is like where the action is right now. Let's see what the holdings are in it.
Create alert. At or above. Create. Okay, cool.
Procter and Gamble, Coca-Cola, Walmart, Pepsi. And by the way, that guy trade with Ninja that we were talking about. I was talking about him last time on the show, and then also you and I talked about it last night too. He used to trade Pep a lot. I don't know if he still does, but I'm like, why is he trading Pepsi? He does all kinds of trades on Pepsi, and that's in this ETF, so that's kind of interesting. Altria Group, Philip Morris.
I heard of Altria. I can't remember what it is.
I think it's a cigarette company. So is Philip Morris. In fact, I thought they were the same thing, but I guess I'm wrong. Like MO, isn't that Morris from Philip Morris? Like, why is PM Philip Morris International? I think they're the same company.
They're going to have to start selling something other than cigarettes because people are not smoking as much as they used to.
Yeah. Mondelez International, Costco Wholesale, SD Lauer Company, and Colgate Palmolive. I want to look at Costco because that's
a lot
something I
of
traded
staples.
last year.
That's a ton of staples. Is the XLP a staple ETF?
Yes, you got it. It is.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, Costco's not looking so good. I'll show you where I traded it last year. It'll take a minute for this chart to catch up on your side.
I have not and do not trade Costco.
I only did like one trade in it, and it worked out great. Let's see if I can even spot it on this chart.
You want cost?
Yeah, I was long Costco. I think it was this move here in August to September.
We talked about cost.
Yeah, I haven't traded it this year though because it's gotten real choppy. It got it couldn't hold up moves. I don't know why. I mean, I think that
it respected that line I put up there that we discussed.
Yeah.
You remember we were talking about the resistance?
Yep, it's failing right there.
Yeah. I mean, I had a little bit of a false breakout, but...
Well, let's look at Pepsi real quick, too. I mean, unless you want to keep talking about this, but yeah, I mean, you're right. That line, it punched through it and it essentially made a wick on a weekly chart, probably, right there.
Probably.
Let me check. No, because it was Friday where it closed up there, and then it was down today. But yeah,
Same thing.
It's going to struggle there.
Same thing.
I'm not sure why that guy Ninja trades PEP, other than like, you know, it's. I haven't studied his trades or his videos enough to know why he's doing this. And a lot of those videos were like a year or 2 or 3 old. And
I could see his zero or hero trades here. Or what does he call them? Lottos?
yeah, he calls them lottos. Yeah, I call
Yeah,
them
I
like,
see
you
a
know,
bunch
those
of lottos
1-inch
here.
punch trades. But yeah, he calls them lottos. He's the lotto king.
Well, there's a lot of lottos in PEP that I see.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it could be that it's just like for him, the market maker in this stock has some kind of like he can read that market maker or something, and so he just keeps coming back here and banking on it. He's doing
That's
the
like me and
ATM on
XL.
that guy.
That's like me and American Express.
Yeah, yeah.
American Express.
You can get a feel for those market makers because you know they're not all the same on all the stocks, and you know
Right.
some of them are they dominate just a handful of stocks or one stock, and it'll have a certain characteristic. It'll respond to the market in certain ways, and it's like if you can get a feel for them, you can read them like in poker, and you know they have tells.
Yes. I agree with you there.
Like that guy User Flyer, we talk about him sometimes on the show. He studies those bank market makers, like for the banks. He's trading those banks a lot, and he's done real well in those lately.
My favorite bank to trade is Citi.
Citi?
Other than that, I trade the XLF.
Yeah, I shorted Wells Fargo a bunch, but I haven't done much else
back
in
when
banks
they were
since
screwing
then.
over their customers, yeah.
What I should have done was I should have, instead of just buy the TLT back spread, what I should have done instead was I should have went long banks and short TLT. I mean, that would have been a monster trade. Instead, I went with something what I thought was more conservative, which was a loser trade, though. Or at least it has been so far. But, I mean, it hasn't lost much because of the way I structured it.
I thought that Wells Fargo was going to go under.
I did too. In fact, I was buying lots of puts on this thing last year because it was just crawling along the bottom, and then it started to break down, and I'm like, oh yeah, here it is, and then it reversed, and then I'm like, shoot.
No, I'm thinking more. When the financial crisis happened, I was looking at Wells Fargo as
back then. Okay, yeah. So by the way, this is like a false breakdown setup that I'm talking about. Like on a longer time frame on WFC from last year, you see it carving this bottom around between 22.5 and 24, and or 25. It's just carving that bottom. And it looks like it's going to break down, and it doesn't. And then look at the power that it had ever since. And so when I talk about those diagonals, if you're looking at a daily or a weekly chart and you're doing this, you're seeing this, they're going to be you're going to have to go farther and farther out on your calendar, and so you can space it out farther out. And so you might be going, on the weeklies, and then even out to the monthlies, picking up the trash. And you don't have to do it as a combo. You might get better fills if you do it as a combo, but you don't have to do it like that. You can buy them one at a time. And the other thing is, like, for trades like that, when you're buying cheap options, you need to trade those very small. Like, as far as like the amount of capital you're putting into those trades should be very, very tiny. Like, if you lose it, you don't miss it. If you're trading it bigger than that, you got the wrong size. I mean, yeah, you might make a killing, but it's the margin for error is so high because if you're wrong, they almost instantly become worthless, or the bid-ask spread gets real wide. You can't get out. So that's the rule about buying trash.
Right.
You don't need to be a lot. You don't need to have a lot of it. I mean, when you're rolling around in the trash, you don't want to smell like it. So don't pick up too much.
I don't like Wells here.
Yeah.
It looks like it's going to go up, but I just don't. I don't think it's going to have an explosive move to the upside. I think it's going to pull one of these right here, and then when it comes back down and tries to retest this 34, that's when it's going to pop I think it's going to do a repeat of this area right here.
Okay. So you think it's heading a little lower right now?
No, I think it's going to come up just
Oh, it's
slightly
at the low now, you say?
and then come back down. It's here.
Yeah.
And I think it's going to come up, come back down, and then take off.
What's your conviction on this? I mean, I look at this chart and I don't have a high conviction about anything on it.
60%.
Yeah, so that's a D.
In other words, what I would do is I would wait.
Yeah.
I would need to see it come up, come back down, touch, and then my conviction would be a lot higher. So I would need it to be at or below here. And it would have to just touch it and then take off from there. Then I would get in.
Yeah, I mean, look at how much it's up over the short term. Like, it's just.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I guess it
But
could keep going up, but it's a
it hasn't really
throw.
made a double top yet, though. I don't see a topping pattern.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like topping patterns.
All right, what do we want to look at next? Let me see what I put in the title here. We already talked about all these except for CCL and IYR. The other ones we've already talked about.
All right, CCL.
And I also want to talk about the airlines too.
Okay.
So CCL caught a bounce today.
Yeah, I see that.
I still have 40. I think I have 40 strikes in this for January 2021. I
cannot get this freaking taskbar to go away. Sorry.
Yeah. Can you shrink the window a little bit or not?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to.
All right. Well, here, let me put the daily chart of this up, and I'll look at a few charts while you fiddle with that for
right.
CCL. Go ahead. So what I have is the 40 strike. Originally I had 50 when it was breaking out, and then I rolled down on this down day, or I think it's right here. I rolled down from the 50 to the 40, and that 40 is really like a resistance level here. So I'm a lot more comfortable there than with the 50. And I mean, I don't know that I even really like the 40 anymore because it's taking its time to get there. You have a big pullback like this, and it really tanks the calls. I mean, it still looks good. It's still in like a pretty strong uptrend, but I would say that it's not like a high velocity uptrend. It's just like ratcheting higher slowly.
There you go. Good day.
Liam, bring it down a little bit.
So, I mean, here in a month or two, I'm going to probably have to roll that 40 strike out on the calendar because I don't want it to get to less than like 9 months to go or less than like 8. I want it to be like almost a year out.
Okay, I'm done.
So, I mean, I could dump it too, but it's still in an uptrend on the daily. Sorry, this is a weekly chart. All right, you got it all set?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. Yeah, now we can see the price scale. All right, so you got the daily chart up for CCL.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and this channel that it's trying its damnedest to break through. So let's get a little bit of context here. So there we go.
That down week is when the Suez, what was it? That canal, was it Suez Canal was blocked? I forget the name of the canal.
Yeah, the Suez.
Yeah, by that Evergrande boat or whatever it is.
Yeah, the one that goes through Africa, so they don't have to go around the Horn.
Yeah. So it's unblocked now, and the shares are bouncing. I mean, I don't know that that's necessarily what's driving those price moves, but it is kind of coincidental that when that canal got blocked, it dropped, and then when it got unblocked, now it's like bouncing.
Well, I believe it because I said when they unstuck it that crude was going to drop like it was going to drop like a hot potato, and it's been doing that. It did that for the last 2 days. It's starting to settle up now.
Yeah, and I guess there's also some like COVID passport news that might be affecting this thing.
You think?
Maybe. I mean, I don't know. Are you going to have a COVID passport to get onto one of these boats? I don't know.
Mm-hmm. I look at it as the same thing when they created the TSA. The very minute they created the TSA and implemented, I stopped flying.
Yeah,
And
I'm with you.
they,
I try not to fly either, like really at all. I try not to fly at all. It's just like,
I drive wherever I go, and if I
yeah,
can't drive across, if I can't drive across the ocean, then I'm stuck.
yeah. I mean, I went RVing before. That was awesome. I mean, I'll probably try and do that again instead of like flying around. I'll probably like get a nice RV and RV around and see the
Hmm.
country. Maybe I'll come visit you.
Okay, cool. Like I
Yeah,
said, cool, man.
it'll be a while. All right, it'll be like 5 years or
I'll have to
something.
I'll
But
have to buy a house with a guest room.
yeah, please do.
All right.
I won't need a guest room though, because I'll have the RV.
Oh yeah, I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, dude, the one I had, it was like a small house. I mean, it was luxury. It was really nice.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
So you had one of those like bus ones.
Yeah, it was a bus, and you expand the sides when you park, and it like turns it into like a pretty big living
Oh,
space.
dude, those things are like 80 grand.
Oh yeah, the one I had was more than that.
Wow. All right, man. Good for you.
Yeah, it was nice. I sold it though, but that's for unrelated reasons. I couldn't
Yeah,
travel anymore, so I sold it.
gotcha.
Yeah.
So I'm looking at a downward channel here, kinda, or what do you call that? A bullhorn? Uh, Megaphone?
Yeah.
I guess it's a channel.
Yeah.
So I believe we're going to get up to here, and then are we going to break through? Is the question. And it's moving up on lower volume. So I don't know. It's stuck in the 34 range, and it's been stuck in that range for quite a while. We're coming up on a year.
Yeah. I mean, that's like a big resistance line that you drew there. And then there's another resistance line at 40.
40?
Yeah, all the way up there at 40 is another resistance line. It's a
Oh, okay,
major
the gap,
resistance
yeah.
line. It's where that gap
Yeah.
is. I'm looking for that
Yeah.
gap to fill. The thing is, it may not fill that gap before my options expire.
It filled this gap and blew right through it.
Yeah.
It didn't give a rat's ass about that gap, but oh wait, it got filled back here.
So I'll either keep
That's
rolling
why.
out or else I'm going to close it. I haven't made up my mind yet.
So what are you long, CC? Yeah, you are long.
Yeah,
I'm sure.
I've had it for a
that's
while.
right.
I got it right when it broke out at like 25 level in February.
Mm-hmm.
It was like late February maybe.
Yeah.
There wasn't a whole lot going on that I could see at that time, but that was like a pretty clear chart pattern where it's like, okay, it could break through this and really run. However, I'm disappointed with how slow it's running. So, time's not your friend. That's not my quote. That's from Mark Cook, who was a big inspiration to me. One of the market wizards traders.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, reading that guy's chapter when I read it, it was incredible to me, his story, and in fact, it was almost unbelievable. I come from a little bit different background where I wasn't looking at options. I was looking at equities and ETFs and portfolio management and quant trading and all these things. And to hear those stories from that guy, it's just like, this is incredible. And so and now I'm trying to trade more and more like how he was trading in that book, but he didn't even trade that way after that book. He transitioned to a S&P futures trader mostly. Although, I mean, he'll trade anything, I think. I don't know for certain. As long as it meets his setup. Or as long as he can see his setups there, and his setups seem to work, then I think he'll trade it. But it's mostly an S&P futures guy. And so, sort of like Marty Schwartz, that guy, another market wizard, he's an S&P futures trader.
Right.
His book was really good. Did you read Pitbull by Marty Schwartz?
No, I have never read a trading book.
I got you.
Wow. Well, why not? Is it you don't want your style to be influenced, or is it that you feel like it's not necessarily going to help you, or it might hurt you more than it helps you? It's possible.
When I first started trading, I got onto StockTwits, and I was listening to. I actually started a trading area. Like it was just like 3 or 4 of us.
Yeah.
And this one guy was very vocal about his positions. And he and I were on different time frames. And I was trying to explain to him, look, it's not about right or wrong. It's about time frames. And you're on a much longer time frame than I am. I bet you I can get in and out 2 or 3 times before your trade gets to fruition. And I will already have made my money and on to the next thing. Well, he didn't like that.
Oh, no.
So the point is that I'm tired of arguing with people until they understand that time matters. And, you can buy time, but buying time gets expensive.
Oh, yeah. It's very expensive. In fact, I'll show you how expensive it is. Just bring up the VXX chart here. I'll bring it up. And, that's a great example of how expensive time is.
Right.
I mean, do you really want to be putting yourself on the other side of this? Like, yeah, there are times where, if you can time it, then there are times when it's great to be long. But, for the most part, it's really, really expensive to hold to be like essentially buying crash insurance or buying options on anything. It's just really expensive to buy them and hold them.
Right. So I guess my point is, I'm not going to pay somebody to argue with them.
Yeah.
And that's what it really feels like, is that I don't benefit from somebody else's style. I have a good grasp of the market. I understand what the price action is going to do. And really, that's what it boils down to. What is the price action going to do in this amount of time?
Mm-hmm.
And once you can figure that out, then, you use your options as leverage to outperform the buy and hold. That's pretty much what it is for me.
Yeah, I got you. Well, I mean, I'm a student of styles, and I really like observing your style. It's
Thank you.
there's a lot of things to like about it.
I appreciate it. I like it too.
Well, and you know what? You wouldn't trade it if you weren't comfortable with it, or you wouldn't trade it for long.
Right. Oh, I've had studies that just don't make any sense on things. Like, I've created studies that I've tried out and I've lost money on them. And, it's just the price that you pay to become more knowledgeable.
Yeah.
The school of hard knocks is the best school there is.
Yeah. That's how you have to look at it, or else you'll never last. People get frustrated and then they leave. And that's kind of sad.
Yeah.
It's fun that trading is cool right now, at least for a little bit. And I didn't think that would happen again. At least, I thought it was like something that happened in 1999 and was never going to happen again. And then we got it, and now it seems like it's kind of like fading back out again.
Excuse me. And that's why I'm creating this website. Excuse me. It's not necessarily to make money, because I'm going to price it to a point where I just break even, maybe make a couple of bucks for my time. But, I'm not going to be charging $150 a month like these other freaking clowns. I'm probably looking at about a $20 regular, buy and hold chart where I just teach price action and that's it. Mm-hmm. And then I'll have maybe a $45 option for, learning how to use option derivatives to capitalize on leverage.
Yeah,
And that's it.
and you've got a great grasp on that, and so it's an honor to have you on the show, and I hope that the work that we do here helps you be better prepared for when you're in the middle of it, under fire during the day. Prices are moving. It's a whole different thing when the prices are moving all around you. Like, I don't really plan to do any of these shows while the market's open, but because I'm busy, right? But
Mm-hmm.
It's really cool that you're going to run a room, or you already are running a room, because a lot of people, once the prices start moving and everything is different, they want someone there with them.
Right.
But I just trade on my own. I always have. I never joined a room. I never did that.
I did. I learned a lot from.
Oh yeah, you find the right mentor, it just change everything.
I learned a lot from Simpler Options, which is I didn't learn anything from John Carter because he's next level crazy ass shit. I learned from the Fibonacci Queen, Carolyn Broden. So if y'all don't follow, if you want to learn about Fibonacci, I'm still a student, but I'm very good at it right now. But she has the title Queen for a reason. And I learned from.
I'm going out there. I'm following her. Let me add her to. I'm gonna make sure I got her on my list.
And I have. I was talking with Henry Gamble over at Simpler Options, and he is now vice president of options, the options area over there. He started out. I think he was broke. He showed up at John's store one day or something like that, something to that extent, and John took him in and taught him everything he knows, and now he's VP of John's company. So, he's a rags to riches story, and I learned a lot from him.
I mean, the thing about options, by the way, I wanted to read a short little passage here from, this is one of the coolest things stories I've ever seen. The book is Capital Ideas by Peter Bernstein, and it's a really short passage, but very early in my trading career, I read this book, and this was one of just a small handful of introductions to options that I got. And with options, I didn't really fully appreciate how fast the tables can turn and how fast. You can make fortunes in almost no time. Like that guy Ninja that I was talking about, he tweeted out, this caught my attention. He tweeted out, he's turned, I think it was $5,000 into 750 grand in 2 weeks. He said these things are possible, and once your eyes are open to it and you see how it can happen, and with compounding, it can change everything for you. So let me find this story because it's really cool if I can find it.
I'm a little leery of those rags to riches stories in options trading.
Yeah, I don't know if that guy actually did it. He says he did it, but and I know people have done it. I've made trades that are so huge, it's incredible. If you string a few of those together, then it is a rags to riches story. I haven't been able to string a few of them together, and that's what I'm trying to do now.
I don't believe that it's a repetitive. It's something that's repetitive or something that comes up a lot. I believe in those are called grand slams to me. Hitting a grand slam comes maybe once every year. And that's even pushing it. You'll get home runs here and there, like you'll get 1,000% like I did last year, or you'll get a 500% ROI on your investment. But between 30 and 100 or 150%, that's nothing to scoff at. And those are my trades. And if I happen to fall on top of something that says that does 1,000%, great. That's awesome. But I've never hit a grand slam yet.
Well, what I am going to try to be doing is I'm going to try and increase my chances of stringing a few of those together by being very picky and only taking A trades, because I have spent a lot of energy and a lot of money on trades that were never really that great of a setup to begin with, and probably they contributed to me missing those A trades. So I don't know that I'm easily going to be able to find this. It may be in this other book by the same author. This one is Against the Gods, and these are by Peter L. Bernstein. They're beautiful books. I mean, look at that picture. Against the Gods, The Remarkable Story of Risk. It might be in here, but I don't think so. I think it's in the other book. If I don't find it here in a second, that's okay. I'll just find it and come back and read it in the next show. It's a very short passage. Yeah. I'll find it and read it on the next show. But yeah, I'm a little surprised that you don't take pleasure in reading trading books. I think it's an enjoyable pastime, but I mean, it's not for everybody. Some people
I'd
just
rather
want to
read
trade.
candles. I'd rather read candles than books.
Yeah. How many charts a day would you say you look at, Chris?
Repetitively or just, originals?
Well, I don't know. Like, there are some people that look through 100 charts a night. There are other people who look through 1,000 charts a night.
Nah, I don't do that. I look probably about maybe 20 or 30 charts a day.
Okay, so you've got like some favorites on the watch list.
I do. I have, well, they're right there on my watch list.
Yeah, I'm looking at that actually on the left side there.
And some of them I don't trade. Some of them I use as gauges.
Yeah.
Like the Nikkei. I used to trade the Nikkei, but I don't trade it anymore. Or not lately, I should say. I do regularly trade the Australian dollar. I trade crude. I trade the VIX. I trade AMD. I trade AMAT. Applied Materials. I trade American Express. I trade UPS. I trade IYR. I do not trade Twitter. I trade Walmart, gold. I don't trade Apple. I don't trade Tesla. I do trade XLY. I do not trade XBit because I'm waiting for a trade setup. I do trade the SPY. I don't trade the Qs. I do trade these two, EEM and TLT.
Yep, the emerging markets. Yep, that's on my radar.
I trade natural gas, but not so much. And I trade silver. And I do not trade gold.
Yeah, interestingly, like I do most of my metal stuff with silver, but gold is so cheap now, and I think platinum's even cheaper. That may have shifted since I last looked at it. Let's look at those metals real quick.
Wait! Don't leave this chart.
Okay, yeah, go ahead. I'm still on it. Max
at the
R.
chart
Okay, here we go.
Look at the chart in a bigger view. What do you see? Let me help you out.
Yeah, if I connect those lows, it's like a really big saucer.
And what's this? They're right here.
It looks like it's rolling over.
It's a massive cup and handle.
Okay, it's so choppy though. Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay, from that high all the way back there, I see it now in July of 2018 to there. Looks like January of 2021. That's the cup, and now it may be forming what is a handle.
Correct. That's what I just happen to have it on the right time frame and the right zoom to see it.
Yeah, well, it just bounced off of support near that like 32 level.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have a line there, but I mean, I don't know if a line should be there where it just bounced. Yeah, right there.
I see it. more here than anything.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean that it can't bounce from here. I mean, I've seen companies or stock, charts that don't follow the rules all the time.
So
Like
you just
the
showed me a
38.
lower level though.
This could be the level,
Yeah.
or it could be the 50 and it just didn't make it down there,
Yeah.
you know.
Or
But that's
maybe
what
it didn't make it down there yet. That's a scary thought.
well, yeah, because I'm in this and I'm long.
Yeah.
I'm 15 contracts in.
Let me ask you to grade this setup.
80%.
80. That's
80%
big.
to the upside.
That's a B.
Yeah, I like the setup because it did not. Whoops. What are you doing, computer? It did not. It did not break. It broke below my. Let me put it on the four handle so you can see it better. So it didn't really break too far below my shoulder line here.
Mm-hmm.
And it's coming back
swinging
up.
back up above it.
Right. So I took it. It was a little painful, but I kept adding. I kept adding 5 contracts every time that it hit a new low on the options chain.
Yeah,
my last
we
purchase,
call that accumulating. You're accumulating.
Yeah, well,
That sounds like more wise than adding.
Averaging down.
No, you can't say averaging down. You can't say adding. You gotta say accumulating. That makes it sound like it's wise.
Yeah, whatever.
It's the same
it
thing,
may
though.
not be wise. It could always crash and burn here. But if it gets above this 34 SMA,
yeah. If
I'm
it's
golden.
Exactly. It'll start trading above that instead of below it. Yeah, it could crack through there in the next day or two.
Right. And, I'm thinking that maybe by Thursday I'll know. Now, I'm down $500 on this trade, but I'm okay with that because I'm still letting the trade play out. To me, it's still sideways. I'm down, but I'm still waiting for the trade to play out. And sometimes you have to take that pain to get that gain.
I'll tell you what
And
this chart reminds me of, Chris. It reminds me of Beyond Burger or Beyond Meat or whatever it is. And I want to go to that chart and kind of compare this so that I can describe for you what I would be looking for an A setup on this chart.
Do you want me to overlay Beyond on top?
No, you don't have to overlay it. I just want to show you like what an A setup on the Beyond chart looks like to me. Because I made a lot of money on Beyond, even though that stock is just like up and down and all over the place. I'm rarely in it, but when I go into it, sometimes it fizzles out and loses, and sometimes it makes a lot. But overall,
did you say go ahead and overlay it?
No, don't overlay it. Just switch over to Beyond when you're ready, or I can bring it up on my side. All right, so
let me put it on a daily.
Yeah, daily is good.
All right.
So here's an A setup on Beyond. This was the first big Beyond trade that I did. You could see it all the way back in 2019 going into 2020. You see how tight that got? It could not break those lows. It sat there and crawled along for so long, and it made a little cup and handle thing. And the breakout
I can't see it on.
What's that?
I was saying that I'm following you on YouTube and nobody can see what you're talking about yet. There it is. Now it's up.
Yeah. So where I'm pointing at is this breakout here. You can go back and look at my tweets and you'll see that I got into this breakout and wrote it. There's another guy, Trader Stewie, who was calling it too. No, not that one. Further back, 2019.
Oh, this one.
Nope, not that one. The next one.
All right, hold on. I gotta. Hang on a second. I gotta go to the 15 year. I can't. I can't go back any farther.
Can you scroll it back? Okay, yeah.
No, it started trading. It started trading back here. So it has to be this move.
You're in 2019, but you got to go forward. You're looking at like October, November of 2019. It's there on your chart. You're just not looking at it.
October, November of 2019. This one?
Yeah, right there. That one. Yep. You see how the price started trading really tight for like months?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like I mean, just take that in. Like how tight that price started trading. Like that.
Right, kind of like right here.
Yeah, exactly. It did it again right there. Yeah, so it does it every now and then, and when it does, I get interested. So anyway, like it will occasionally trade really tight, and when it does, Beyond is setting up to do something. And so where I'm going with this is the chart you were just looking at, Max R. I would expect, and it can do it. Let's look at a few other examples on this before you flip.
Whoops. Sorry.
Yeah, sorry. There's just a couple other ones I want to call out because they don't all have to be that dramatic. So what I showed you was like a super dramatic one.
Okay, what's your next one?
Well, you're on Max R.
Yeah, but give me another ticker.
It's on Beyond.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm going to just show you a few other like less extreme examples on it. Like you showed one. There's another one in August of 2020. See how it got real tight there for like 2 or 3 weeks? Yeah, right there. See how it got real tight and then it ran. Look, it ran like crazy. It had a false breakdown too. It did one of those false breakdown signals too before it really ran. So yeah, no, go to the right, not the left. Yeah, right in there. See that false breakout where it looked like it made a new low? We were just talking about that setup. So that wick is actually below. That wick is below that support level. It wicked below it.
Yeah, I see it.
Right there, where you're just hovering.
Yeah, right here.
In September. Yeah, right there. That wick, that was your go time. Once it did not break down, then it was go time.
That one.
Yep.
I need to figure out how I can get an arrow so I can get rid of this data box and point to shit. Like,
yeah.
Professionals do like professionals do.
Yeah. So anyway, that was another really great setup on Beyond. The chart got really, really tight. Now, I thought it was going to do that again in December of 2020, and it broke down instead.
2020.
December of 2020, it started trading really tight again. And then what it did is it broke down to December of 2020. There you go, right there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, see how it got real tight? In that little box, and then it broke down from the box instead of up.
Yeah, double bottom, man.
Yeah.
Nice.
So by the way, I had a ratio back spread in Beyond when it did that gap up in January, and I sold it to open, dude.
You did what?
In January, you see that big gap up to 220?
Yes.
I was long a ratio back spread of calls when it did that. And I sold the open, dude.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I made a ton of money on that.
I was going to say that's a lot of money, dude.
Yeah, I let them have it. I'm like, here, take it all.
So that would be a grand slam.
Yeah, I have a lot of those. I have them. The problem is I have a lot of trades. So I'm trying to like get rid of the garbage, but keep the home runs. That's a hard thing to do.
Very.
So, but that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to transform myself into more of that trader that's like just hitting home runs because that fits my trading style. I love taking swings. I mean, I'm a punter, man. I really am. I mean, don't get me wrong. I've had years where I've made triple-digit returns just shorting volatility for the most part. But,
right.
I mean, so I can do that too. But I don't know. I'm more comfortable doing the home run stuff. So anyway, about that, by the way, it was they announced some kind of like partnership with Taco Bell. I'm like, Taco Bell, dude, I'm a vegan, and like I'm not gonna go to Taco Bell just because it has Beyond there. I'll go to White Castle, but I'm not going to Taco Bell.
I remember that presser that came out.
Yeah, it was a huge move.
Yeah, and you see how much the people love that idea.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, good for them. They're doing something with Taco Bell, but really what they need is McDonald's and a whole bunch of other stuff. And I think they're doing stuff with McDonald's. I don't know, but here's what I care about. They carry it at Costco.
Doesn't Burger King have something called the Impossible Burger?
Yeah, Impossible Whopper. They do. They have that. But that's not Beyond. That's a competitor.
Oh,
But yeah, I mean, every month I buy some Beyond Burger at Costco. I mean, I don't eat it every day, but I eat it probably every week. It's pretty tasty.
yeah. I don't. I'm a meat eater, so.
Yeah, hey, no worries, man. We don't even have to talk about it anymore.
Yeah, it doesn't bother me. I mean,
Yeah,
if
I
it
used to
doesn't
tweet
bother
about
you,
the
it
vegan
doesn't
stuff
bother
a
me.
lot, but a lot those vegan people on Twitter, man, a lot of them are just weird. I'm like, you know what? I'm not one of you people. I got put onto a list of get this, they call it sus vegans, and what that means is like suspicious vegans. They're like,
Right.
he doesn't fit in with us. So I'm like, you know what? I'm like, I'm ignoring and blocking and muting all you vegan people, man. I'm done with it. Like I'm a vegan, but I don't fit in with that crowd. That's not my scene.
So are you a vegan because you're not a vegan because of the protecting the animals. You're doing it for your health, I would assume.
Yeah, I
That
started for the health, but it's nice having like guilt-free food too. Like, I'll just say that like that became a perk for me that I started to appreciate.
uh
Here's the other thing, Chris. When I very first did
uh
this transition, I went from just eating American diet to eating vegetarian, and that was the hardest
right.
thing. And I had a friend who was coaching me through it because he made it sound so cool, and he was a super cool guy. And so
Hmm.
I thought, you know what, I do want to try that. Like I want to be a healthier person. So I tried it. He was coaching me through it, teaching me to cook. I didn't know anything about how to cook at that time, and he's taught me a lot. And then Micah's taught me a lot more about cooking. But anyway, what I ended up doing to transition from eating American diet to eating a vegetarian diet is
Go ahead.
here's what I did, dude. You guys are gonna laugh. Everybody's gonna laugh because this is the dumbest thing ever. But what I did is I took the meat off the plate, okay, and I added a
Yeah.
6 pack of beer with dinner every night. And I drink
Uh
like these IPAs that are like, I mean, what's this? This is 9% on this one. This one's um, I don't know. This was probably like 4 or 5%. And I mean, I don't drink every night, but the point is, that made me feel full in the same way, like having meat. And so that was a crutch I used. This is I don't know, over 5 years ago from when I transitioned to vegetarian. And, I mean, I've always been like a regular drinker, but, it's like probably after this show, I'll be done drinking. Like I just had a beer or two, I mean, a lot of people do that. And I don't drink it
Right.
every night. So, but anyway, during that transition, I would have a 6 pack of beer instead of the meat on the plate to help me feel the same kind of full. And it sounds silly, but that helped me actually to do that transition. Now it sounds like I'm like changing my orientation or something. I'm talking about transition. All right, let's get back to stocks. All right, so we were just talking about setups. Can we go back to Max R now? Because we talked about a few of these setups in Beyond that I think, these are the kind of things, the A setups in Beyond. And this chart is hard to trade, by the way. Like almost nothing works in Beyond because it's just all over the place. And when I look at this Max R, like the way it's kind of choppy right now, I would be looking for some of those same kinds of setups in Max R. And like maybe I'm misreading it, but that's just my take. And if you look, I see one of them actually. Back in April of 2019, it got real tight, and then it had a nice breakout. Another one in October of 2019, it got pretty tight, and then had a breakout. So I mean, they're in there.
Okay.
Yeah, you see that like cup and handle kind of shape right there. That's it.
Popped.
Your eyes catch it right away. Like that's an A setup to me. And
Right.
unfortunately, it did that gap up, so you'd have to be buying almost right away on that strength. Because when it gaps up like that, it's really hard to buy. And then it didn't have a whole ton of follow through. But you know what? If you're trading options, that's like a week or 2 weeks of a almost straight up run. So plenty of money to be had there.
Right.
And so, I mean, the other thing you could do is like zoom in and look for those cup and handles or those reversal patterns or the really tight trading action on the shorter time frames. But then you can't go out as far on the calendar with your with whatever plays you're doing.
Okay.
So
I
this
see
is
what
just
you're
my
talking
take. I mean, you already know what you're doing. I'm just giving you my opinion. That's all. I hope it doesn't hurt your trading.
I hear what you're saying, and consolidation trades are awesome. I usually use the squeeze for those, but I have a tendency to not watch consolidation trades because they're boring to me, and a lot of times they take 2 weeks to a month to work out.
Yeah, they do. They take a long time to set up, and there's a lot of things going on in the meantime. And so if you're in and out quick and you catch the levels right and you're at the money, I think, a lot of times you trade at the money. That's a pretty good style for putting on directional trades off of levels, I think. I think that's probably a good way to do that.
Right. I guess what I would have to do is just start putting alerts on these consolidation trades so that when it breaks above or below, I get the alert and then I could re-examine the chart.
Yeah, and I want to start trying to show more of those when I see them on this show, because a lot of times I'll see it and then I'll take the trade and I don't even talk about it here, or I don't even tweet about it.
Right.
I do want to put that content in here. So
that's awesome.
I'll try and call those out when I see them setting up. I just don't see a whole lot of that stuff setting up right now. I'm sure there is stuff like that.
Let me do this. I will. I'm going to throw the squeeze on here and see if we can. Let me get rid of some of these.
Okay.
We need that. We don't need this. I have too many of these damn things up here anyway. We don't need that. I just said we don't need that.
I'm really glad we got this video situation figured out, because it's nice to be able to just sit back and watch you do all this stuff. And I know that it's going straight to the stream. Before I had to keep on clicking on it or something and bring focus on the window. It was really bizarre.
Okay, so here, your that one trade you're talking about in April, it created a squeeze right here.
Right.
It was trading sideways, and then it finally squeezed where the Keltner went inside the Bollinger Band, and then it rocketed up like you wanted it to.
Oh, yeah, look at that. It's beautiful. Your indicator signaled there. When you talk about these bands, excellent. That's a great way to measure that.
And then
so that you have Keltner channels and Bollinger Bands up, right? And that's what you're looking at.
Right.
So can you explain that again, just one more time from the beginning for people? Because you and I have talked about it a lot. I don't know that everyone watching this will have caught what you just said, because it's actually really important.
Okay, so the Bollinger Band, as we know, is a 2 standard deviation. The Keltner channel is more of a rolling oscillator. All right. It's not exactly, but it's more of I guess you would call an envelope, as you say. And when the standard deviation gets so tight that it falls inside of the envelope of the Keltner channel, it creates what's called a squeeze. And what that is there's extreme compression that needs to be released within the trading excuse me, the price range of the trade, right? Or the price range of the
and
ticker.
I see another really good one in September also.
And if you look here, these dots get red when it enters into the squeeze. This is also called the squeeze. It's from John Carter. It's called TTM squeeze. So once the price action breaks out or down from the squeeze, you need to take that trade. Once the Bollinger Band breaks out or breaks down, whatever direction the price action is going in, take that trade. It doesn't always work. It's not 100%. Sometimes you get false breakouts, but they're very, very few.
Right. And this is exactly the kind of thing that I'm trying to start focusing more and more on. And more on. That sounds dumb. Anyway.
Another one that you just pointed out is right here.
Yeah. And so what I'm looking at buying when I do this is I'm looking at buying diagonally calls that have been thrown away. I'm looking to buy cheap calls that are out of the money, diagonally higher strikes as they go further out on the calendar in these kind of situations.
Right.
Yeah, I mean,
I do use.
these are great.
Sorry, go ahead.
I mean, there's another
I
one
do
in
use the
December.
squeeze.
Look at that one. Looks fantastic.
Where? Here?
December of 2020,
Oh, December.
I think.
This one. This one.
Yeah, maybe that's it.
Yeah, it wasn't very long. It was just a week long.
Yeah.
But hey, I mean, look at the results.
Right. And, we see these on Tesla, too. If you look at Tesla, they happen over and over again on that one.
Now, here's what can happen. This is the bad thing about the squeeze. You get a squeeze. It's got a decent amount of days in it, and then it goes nowhere. It drops down, and then no squeeze, and it rips up.
Yeah.
So you do have to be careful with them. They're not 100%, but they are high probability trades.
Yeah, really cool, Chris. Thank you for showing that.
You're welcome. You are welcome. So here in MaxR, you already had the. Let me zoom back out. That looks
so you're on the daily right now, right? And the Bollinger Bands you're using are just standard Bollinger Band settings. What is the Keltner setting? Do you know on that indicator what the Keltner is?
I will tell you in just a second. It's a 20 period, and the factor is 1.5 times the price, I believe it is. The factor by which the ATR value is multiplied to calculate the distance. Yeah, it's the strength of the move, I guess, that you can expect.
Yeah, so I already have Bollinger Bands up, and one reason why I don't put the Keltners up also is because when I change different time frames, it looks wacky or it disappears. Those Keltner settings don't seem to carry across different time horizons at stockcharts.com. So I'm going to try and take a look at that right now. You had something different. You had what was the period? It was 20?
20 day, yeah.
So I'm looking at 20, 2.0, 10. What should I be putting in there for that?
20, 2.0, 10. You'd have to show me the thing.
Well, you said 1.5.
The data box,
right? What was the period? The period was 20.
Hold on a second. I'm looking at it now.
Okay.
Okay, so it's a 20 period.
Yeah.
20, 2,
So the 2.0,
you had like 1.5. Those other numbers. Just leave the 20 there. Get rid of all those other numbers. I don't know what that is.
Well, I can't get rid of them. Hang on. Let me.
Oh, you can't edit that?
Huh?
You cannot edit that?
Yeah, I can, but I mean, I can't get rid of them. It's not going to work. I got to put. I think you have 1.5 here, right?
Oh, wait a minute. Okay, I think I know what you're talking about. All right, hold on. Yeah, mine looked a little. My data box looked a little bit different than yours. Maybe that's why. Yeah, 1.5.
Okay, I don't know what this 10 is, so I'm just going to leave that.
There might be a displacement. Hold on a second. Yeah, it could be a displacement.
Oh, you have 0 for that, huh?
Yeah. Well, no, you have the 0 there. You have the 20, the 2, and then... Oh, okay, I got you. 2.0, is that what it was?
Yeah, should I put a 0 here instead of the 10?
What's the worst thing that could happen?
Yeah, I don't know.
Or you could always go back and change it.
Yeah. All right.
I mean, if you get rid of it, it ain't going to do anything.
I don't even see them on here. They disappeared. Yeah, that's the thing. At stockcharts.com, these Keltners tend to disappear. So it depends on what settings you have, what time frame you're looking at. Now I see them brown. So what you're saying is when the Bollinger Bands come inside there, this chart looks really muddy right now too. That's
when the Bollinger Band goes inside.
Goes inside the Keltner channel. That's when it's squeezing, right?
Right.
Okay. So
I can't tell. You got a lot of lines.
Yeah, I got too many lines on there. Well, I'll play with it later.
Can you zoom in?
Yeah, I could, but well, here, let's do this. Let's look at bar size 7. There we go. What about that?
I am waiting on the chart to change.
I don't know why I'm looking at VXX. Let's look at Tesla.
Okay.
So here's one back here in November of 2020 on Tesla. It'd probably be a lot easier to look at it on yours. I've got way too many lines when I add the Keltner
I'm still waiting
channel.
for Tesla to come up. There you go. You typed in Tesla.
Yeah, the stream's lagging a little bit.
I still can't tell. There's a lot of lines.
Hey, Speedy Jr. made some comments. Hey guys, Max R, I got 3 contracts. It's that ATR, LOL. Which indicator is on bottom? Which indicator is on bottom? Okay,
oh,
so
that's
this was
the
probably
accumulation distribution.
Yeah, here, I'll let you try and answer that. Hey, Speedy, are you still here in the chat? If you are, drop a message. I should just invite him on. He can come on the show and tell us what's up.
All right. You have to get some of the, like the Bollinger Band and the Keltner have lines that are on the inside. They're 0 lines. You have to get rid of those.
The inside lines on what? Okay, hey, he's still on. Hey, do you want to come on to the screen share we're doing? If you have a microphone, you don't have to like share video or anything. But if you want to come on for audio, I can send you a link on Twitter. I'll DM you the link on Twitter if you want to join. It'll be easier. We'll see what he says. What were you talking about, Chris? About like the lines at the bottom?
Okay, so in your chart on stock charts, right? I'm going to show you here. There's an average, an upper band, and a lower band.
Yeah.
The average, do you see here? My show plot is not checked. There's a middle line in this one.
Yeah.
And then there's also
for the squeeze, you take that off. You're just showing the outer bands.
On the Bollinger Band, there's also a midline or an average, and I take that out because it's too many lines. It gets too
right. Yeah, and that's what's happening here with mine. Yeah, that's a good call.
Right.
I don't need to show that middle line because I already have those moving averages there. Okay, right. Cool. He says, "Yep, let's try it." Okay. Okay, hang on. Let me send you the link. Oh, you could probably just type it in. I mean, it's right there showing. I'll still DM you. Don't worry. I'll DM you that link. Hang on. It might take me a minute. Okay, hopefully now, I'm sending this to the right person. Shoot.
Just so you know, the squeeze is not the only thing that I use. I use a bunch of different other studies, and they all have to line up. So I have a confluence of studies. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Out of those 13, I probably use 8. Excuse me, before I take a trade. Because they all measure different things.
Right.
They all measure different data points within the trade that I need to see. One oscillator just doesn't do it for me.
All right. Hey, I think I sent you the link to join. If I sent that to someone else, then oops. I have to leave the YouTube for a minute to do it, but I think it'll work. Okay, yeah, hopefully. So what'll happen is, yep, there we go. Admit entry. Hey, what's up? Dude, hey. You have so many names, I don't know who you are, man.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
All right, nice to meet you. I'm Tony.
Tony, you got to come on here more often, man. Your voice is great. You got like a streamer's voice.
Oh, is this Marty Blarkfast?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, what's up, man?
Same guy. Good to see you. It's nice to meet you guys. Thanks for y'all doing this. I'm I've been trading and I'm trying to get more. As I was telling him, I was just trying to get better at it. And you guys are showing me things I'd never really like this right here. What you're talking about with the Bollinger Bands and the Keltners. Now that makes a lot of sense because I've been playing with Keltners for a while. Um, but yeah, well, I was asking about that indicator, the blue and red and green that you're talking about, where it gets red when the squeeze comes on. What is that indicator that you add at the bottom there?
The one below the squeeze or the squeeze itself?
Just where the squeezes show up on the bottom. You know, you were talking about
Okay, I'm in the bedroom.
you were talking about yeah. See where the green and yeah, right down there. Yeah. What is that
Okay,
indicator?
that's called the squeeze.
I'm going in the bedroom.
So do you have this? Do you have the same charting package as Chris does?
She
No, I
does.
don't. I don't.
Oh, I thought you had Thinkorswim.
No, I don't have Thinkorswim. I'm thinking about getting it, but I just stick. You know, for me, I've had enough success with just E-Trade's platform that I haven't needed Thinkorswim. I haven't decided
Yeah,
to go
I'm
that.
thinking about opening
Okay.
a small account over there at Thinkorswim just so that I can have access to some of these things that Chris is showing. Because I mean, it's really cool, and I'm at Interactive Brokers, and I mean, they might have stuff like that, but I don't know where it is, and it's
Well, I
hard
know
to
how to
learn
add a
new
lot
stuff
of
on there.
indicators on E-Trade. I can add a lot of indicators, but I just didn't know what the name of that one would be that I could look for on E-Trade. You
Okay.
know, so
Tony,
Yeah.
yes,
you see here where it says John Carter Studies?
yes.
Okay, come down here. That's it right there. TTM_squeeze.
Okay.
And if once you click on that, you see it populated.
Yeah, yeah, looks
Okay.
good. That's kind of how my software works. I'll just have to look and see if I see something like that on there. It looks like it's proprietary, so it probably isn't. E-Trade has some of their own though, so
Hey, you don't even need that. You don't need this oscillator on the bottom. You could just use the
yeah, I noticed that, but obviously that indicator is kind of sweet too, you know.
yeah, it's easy to see.
Yes.
But I like having the Keltner channel and the Bollinger Band up there because I want to see how the price action is acting within the squeeze. You know what I'm saying? Like I just don't rely on the oscillator itself. I also need to see the price action within the squeeze so I can try and ascertain which
Yeah.
direction it's going to
Well,
take.
and it looks
Yeah,
like
and
we
you look at
had one
enough
in
of those.
Maxar too.
You look at enough of those different setups, and you start to notice like, oh well, this part isn't quite right, and so what does that do to the failure rate? That kind of stuff. For me, it's mostly just eyeballing the straight up charts. Your eye starts to just learn this stuff, but it's awesome when there's an indicator that really helps you out. Like this is a cool one for sure.
Well, did you say there was one happening with Maxar? It looks like it broke down right after.
It did.
But that could be one of those fake outs you're talking about earlier with Beyond Meat.
Well, no, this isn't a fake out because, or a fake breakout. I mean, a fake breakdown because it did break down. It squeezed, and then you had like 8 to 10 bars,
Yeah, I see.
and then
Okay.
they started turning yellow. So that was a squeeze, and it lost quite a bit. It lost 16 points or 17 points. So now that it's created that move and it's hanging around down the lower Bollinger Band, it's time for it to start coming back up. Now, the reason that it's stuck right now is because of this damn Keltner right here. But as soon as it breaks above that Keltner on a full candle instead of a wick, it'll get to this Keltner. You feel me?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And
It just
you could see
that
that
setup.
here in
That's
this
one of those
in this
setups.
example. There wasn't a squeeze here, but it broke down. And as soon as the candles turned yellow, it got stuck here, right here at that Keltner. And once it broke above, it got to the second Keltner.
Oh yeah, yeah, cool.
Market data
And
connection.
see
So that's
how much farther apart they are now than they were then. This thing just is getting a much bigger
Market data
range
connection
and much
re-established.
quicker. It looks like it's one of the easiest I've ever seen to say easy. Wait till it happens before I say it's easy, right? But but it just, you see, to me, it looks like the range expansion is massive, and it does scarily look to the downside. I do notice those tops going lower every time, but that's not unusual either.
Hey, something I've been looking at a lot is the ATR, and sometimes that'll reveal a little extra information. Let me bring up the ATR on the daily here.
Yeah, that's why I like this stock is because of the ATR. It kind of snuck up there, and then bam, it was big.
Yeah, the
I've been watching it
ATR
for
is
a
like
long
calm
time.
right now. As
Yeah,
far as
it's
like
grown.
it's going, the stock's going down, but the ATR is not rising.
No,
So I mean that to me it does not indicate acceleration to the downside.
right.
No, it's consolidating again.
Like if you want to see acceleration to the downside on an ATR, like I mean, just look at like some of the huge stuff that's breaking down right now, like TME. As that's going lower, the ATR is rising, and when I look at Max R, the ATR is not rising; it's actually falling. So this is a controlled decline so far.
I still like that
I haven't
inverted head
looked
and
at it that
shoulders that
way.
it's got.
I was looking at how kind of since January the ATR has just grown and grown and grown, but you're right, it's declining now, but that's just in this recent downtrend, so that's another good sign.
Right? Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that
Now,
is a sign of health.
Longer
another
term,
thing.
it's still very big, and it looks like it's going to make a move one way or another.
Yeah, what's your time frame on this one, by the way? Like, are you looking at this with leaps, or are you looking at it with
Well,
equities, or?
I we just my first move I actually did it with Chris the other day. I got in some calls for April, but yeah, I'm looking at it for long term leaps. Actually, I'm not 100% sure, but pretty sure. Just like that mosaic one I told you all about that I like.
Yeah,
My time frame
that
on
was
that
that
is
potash stock, right?
yeah. My time frame on that is to the end of the year, or to even 18 months, like a lot longer, even maybe. I think
Yeah.
it's going to have a long one of those long ones,
And you know
long
what else
term.
you got going for you with the mosaic play that I really like is Caterpillar and John Deere. I mean those
Right,
things. It's like almost the same chart as
right.
Mosaic.
But those guys have been going up for a long time already,
Yeah,
Well,
as
I think they're
Mosaic.
going up because people are worried about food.
yeah.
Yeah,
Well, and
yeah,
we've talked about it on the show before. Chris brings up some of those commodity prices like corn and
yes.
corn. And a lot of those ags, they're hitting new highs. I mean, they're breaking out. When you zoom out, you look at the big picture. Like they're really running up.
Yeah, food price inflation is definitely a
And
thing.
here's something else. I mean, I don't know if they use like that potash fertilizer stuff with the marijuana stocks, but I just read a headline today that New York approved the recreational marijuana,
Yeah, yeah.
and
They
so I mean
got
I
to do
think that
something to
helps
get people to
Mosaic,
come
right?
back. They got to do something to get people to come back.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Totally. You're right, man. It's like Illinois. So I live in St. Louis, but
That's
on the
awesome.
Missouri side, and we don't have that here. It's like you got to have a medical marijuana card here in order to
Let
get
me tell
that.
you
But
what, I do not trust New York in any way, shape, or form. Just because they passed it statewide doesn't mean that the city passed it. And the city and the state are two completely
oh
different
yeah, you can't
entities.
trust them. Yeah.
Nope, I ain't growing a fucking thing here.
In Texas, they started selling this stuff that is like not marijuana, but it is. But it's called.
Oh, that synthetic stuff?
It's not synthetic. It's actually. I've read up on it because it's interesting. I don't know why Texas just doesn't legalize it because they're getting around it. But it's
Dude, I
called
need that here. Yeah, let me know when you
it's
find out
called
what that is, man.
it's called Delta 8. Research that. I think it's called Delta 8, and it's like one molecule off of Delta 9 THC, which is what it's really interesting.
All right, Delta
Huh.
8. I typed it in.
And they sell it in the stores here like cigarettes now.
All right. I'm going to keep an eye out. Maybe they'll put it in a beer for me or something. Yeah, that's cool, man. Thank you. I
I
saved
like your
that.
beer drinking style there. Every time you drink a different beer each day, I think that's really cool. I'm gonna start trying to drink one with you when I can catch your show.
Cool. Well, you know what? You send me a message and I'll go get one of those and we'll enjoy the same beer. It could be something new. We'll try something new.
All right, I'll see what I find at the store next time.
Cool. All right. So, what was I going to look at? Ah, dang it. I had something. Yeah.
So really
Go
quick
ahead.
to finish up on Maxar. The reason that I like this is another reason I like this, I should say, is if you look here at this shoulder, this wick head, and this wick shoulder, it looks similar to this. The bottom construction of it and the bottom construction of this, they look very similar. So I'm expecting this to happen, which is about 9 points. I just hope that I have enough time because I have it for the April OPEX.
This thing can move fast. Is what I'm scared I don't have enough. But that's what gets me in trouble when I start thinking that way. So
Yeah, and you know what? That was my theme earlier on the show. I don't know if you were tuned in earlier, but at least for me, I'm trying to move away from being overcommitted because I mean,
can't
I got to
wait.
tell you guys, in my trading career, I am almost always on like full on leverage. So you know, I've only been doing options since the middle of last year, and the reason is because when the market crashed in March, I couldn't even hedge myself enough using the volatility products out there available with exchange traded funds. So I decided, like, okay, it's time to move to options because I can get plenty of leverage that way in order to properly hedge things. Um, However, you know, it's been a journey for me adapting the style that I had, which was effective, to doing it even more effectively and with options. And so Chris is helping, and doing these shows is helping, and reviewing my trades is helping. I'm studying guys out there like Mark Cook and Ninja, and really what I'm
Ninja
trying
guy,
to do
he's
is
great.
I
He's
just want
really
to be in
smart.
these A trades, and what that means is something different than what it used to mean for me. So the way that I used to trade was it was a style where I was getting in on big volatility spikes. When big volatility spikes happened, I would get long volatility on those, and then I would load up with shares at the bottom. And they were very infrequent opportunities, which meant that I always needed to be in the market and playing. But that's not the case with options. I mean, you can make your account go up 10x and be in cash most of the time, and it's a whole different mindset. And so if you're going to trade that way, you can still do the other thing, but I'm trying to transition away from that and just be in these A plus trades. And it's been hard. I mean, I've been in tons of winners, but I have a lot of losers too, and I'm trying to cut down on those. Because a lot of times what might be a winning trade in equities is not a winning trade in options because it took so long for the move to play out. When time's on your side when you're collecting dividends and you're not paying time premium. But when the implied volatility drops on your options holdings, time is not on your side. So, I mean, I've still got a lot of pretty long dated options. I don't plan to necessarily dump those. And I like the idea about rolling down in strikes when the underlying moves to a lower time frame or moves to a lower price range. Rolling down in strikes, awesome. That's a great response to that. Instead of like adding contracts at the cheaper price at a strike that's now stale.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I mean, I'm not in this one with you guys. So I mean, I don't want to say too much because I don't want to like influence you. But I mean, I will
No,
say
go ahead.
like it does look due for a bounce. but and it's got a lot of support under it too. That's the other thing. I just don't like how choppy that price has been lately.
If you don't like the trade, say you don't like the trade. That's cool.
Here's why I'm apprehensive about it. Is because of how choppy that price is right over your head.
Mm-hmm. Right.
If you drew a box around that stuff above you, like between the teal line and the brown line, that is like huge chop.
It is. Volatility can be your friend.
However, like we did look at the ATR, and the ATR is dropping. So, you know, it's even though it looks bad to my eyeballs, it's not actually that bad.
Look at the weekly.
Okay. Yeah, when you zoom out on it, it's, you know, Chris has already pointed out, when you zoom out on this, it's a good setup.
Zoom in on that last head. That's the thing that's curious to me, is that range, the way all those weekly bars got 3 times, 4 times as big.
Yeah.
That's something you don't see very often, and I don't really know what it means. I'm trying to figure it out and learn it here, but I have a feeling because of what they do, when you get into the story of the stock, this has legs, and this may be a lot of, this could be somebody big shaking the tree to get in, you know.
Yeah, it tells the
over
story
a month,
a little bit on this one.
over 2 months, 3 months.
So I'm not as familiar with it. So take us through the backstory on this.
Well, I can tell you right now, looking at this trade real quick, I don't have enough time.
Yeah, no, it's we could do that another time, but it's a defense stock. And
no, I don't have. It's not that I don't have enough time to listen to you. I don't have enough time in my options trade. No, I'm saying I don't have enough time in my options trade. Please tell the story.
Oh, well, I probably don't have enough time myself to tell you the whole thing, but it's just they're involved in all the I don't even know what they do is the thing. They're a defense contractor. They're involved in it's not that I don't know what they do, it's just that I know what they're in. I've had a few beers, so I have to actually go back and look through it. I've just now gotten interested in it, but it's one of the reasons is because I know that they're involved in some new defense technology stuff with drones and
Yeah, and that's hot right now. By the way, do you follow Chaz Markley on Twitter? He made a really great trade a few weeks back, and I was following along with that one. I'll show what it is.
I don't think so. I don't think I follow.
So ITA is the U.S. Aerospace and Defense ETF.
Okay.
If you look at that,
MaxR is probably in that.
Yeah, MaxR is probably in that, and it's strong. It looks good. So you've got the wind at your back there. So I just put the chart up here on the stream, but I'll let Chris show it on the on our Google Meet.
What do you want?
ITA. In fact, I'm going to go over to Yahoo. Let's see if it's a top 10 holding over there. No, it's not a top 10 holding, but it's probably in the constituents list. So
like
anyway, this is the Aerospace and Defense ETF, and it's one of the strongest moving ETFs right now. Boeing is the number 1 holding in that. The number 2 is Raytheon. Number 3, Lockheed Martin, General Dynamics.
It's like asking me what do those companies do. That's what I'm trying to say. Is like
yeah, I got you.
I could.
I could tell you, but I'd have to
kill you.
I'd have to kill you. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, he would. Chris is a veteran, by the way. I don't know if you knew that.
I worked for a defense contractor.
I did not.
Yeah,
we have a lot of them here.
I'm sorry, say again?
I said we have a lot of defense industry here in Dallas where I live.
Hey, I've been to Dallas. I've visited Dallas many times. I used to go down there for QuakeCon every couple of years.
For what con?
QuakeCon. It's like a video game conference. I haven't been there since I don't know, 4 or 5 years back, but I used to go there all the time.
Excuse me.
Oh, Quake, the game engine. Yeah.
Yeah, so Dallas is like the hometown for that whole thing.
Right, that's true. Richardson, yeah. Well, that's cool. Yeah, I know you live in St. Louis, which I'm a big baseball fan, so I don't like the Cardinals anymore.
Yeah,
Ever since
they did pretty good while
2011,
I've been living here, but I mean, I don't know how they've been doing lately.
ever since 2011 when they beat the Rangers in the World Series. So
Yeah,
that's
I
my
remember
feeling. But
that.
I actually love St. Louis. I've been there several times too.
Cool. Well, next time I get down to Dallas, I'm going to send you a ping. We'll have a beer.
Okay, yeah. Well, I gave you a ping once too, or a DM, and said I'm gonna buy you a beer when I come up to St. Louis.
Awesome.
So
Yeah, please
one
do.
way or another,
We'll come
one way
hang
or
out.
another,
We'll hang out.
one way or another.
All right. So you got some levels on here, Chris?
Yeah, they're mostly gaps. It
Yeah.
looks like it's ready to get into a squeeze, but the problem that I have with it is that it's not. It doesn't look like it's going to form, and it's already starting to break out. You see it where the Bollinger got real close to the Keltner, and now it's starting to just slightly push back out at the top and the bottom.
Well, hang on. Don't
So I
don't
think you
scroll yet. Don't scroll yet. Because what I see is I
okay.
see a cup and handle breakout that's just going to ride the upper Bollinger Band for however long it's going to ride it.
Where
So the
I
handle
already zoomed
starts
in.
in June of 2020.
Sorry, I zoomed in. Okay, so
No, 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 no.
when of 2020?
I was looking at that zoom. I can't do it anymore on this zoom.
Sorry, what I'm trying to tell you is the lag. I had already done it before you said not to do it.
Oh, yeah, yeah. My bad. That's all right. Just zoom
Okay,
in again.
so
It'll show back up. Yeah, I can see it here. See that big blue candle right there, where the bars turn yellow in April?
April.
So yeah, it's
Oh
starting in
God,
April and
I'm not.
July of
I'm not in April
2020.
anymore.
No, 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 you broke the zoom again. You can't see it that way. The problem with this view is it shows the 2020 the lockdown crash, and it makes the chart look funny.
You want me to go to daily?
Yeah, go back to please.
And we're
Okay.
still on weekly.
Yeah, maybe zoom in just a little bit more. Yeah, awesome. Okay, so yeah, look in June of 2020. You don't even have to move. Don't change the zoom. Just right there, right around there. See that peak? See that peak right
This?
there in June? That one.
Yeah.
Yes. That's the peak of the cup, or where the cup starts. Then there's a cup that
Oh,
goes all
okay.
the way till December. No, no, no.
Yeah.
Keep going out to the high in December.
High
Yeah,
in
yeah.
December.
Right there. Right there. So that's your resistance, your major resistance level that's now support. And it has broken above it, and really the big action where it broke above it was in March. You see in early March those blue bars there, there's 3 of them.
Mm-hmm.
That's your big moment right there.
Okay.
Yeah.
I see. I see what you're talking
And
about.
so it's in a breakout mode right now, and it did a back test. Unfortunately, it's like the market got weak, and it's doing a back test right now. But it bounced off that support level, and it's probably ready to run higher and make new highs. Is what it looks like to me. So what I'm talking about very specifically is March right now. So as soon as those 3 blue bars happen, before those green breakout that happened, those 3 blue bars, that's the action, dude. Like, that's the kind of thing that I'm looking for.
Okay. I got you.
Do you
You're
see
talking
those
about
3
here
bars
now,
I'm
right?
talking about?
Are you talking about these?
No, I'm talking about in March 2021.
Oh. These.
Yeah, those 3. Those 3
Where
bars.
the squeeze is. Okay.
Yeah, see how they're hooking higher?
Mm-hmm.
They hook higher, and it just like grabs on. And unfortunately, you didn't have like a huge breakout there, but that potential was there. I mean, that's a good looking run up to a breakout, and it just back tested early, but it still looks ready to run to me. This looks strong. It looks really strong.
What's that?
Cool.
Which stock is that? That's the
This is ITA, which is the aerospace
defense
and,
one.
defense
Aerospace one.
ETF.
Yeah, that's what I
The
thought.
number 1 holding is Boeing. Number 2 is Raytheon.
Yeah.
So yeah, Chaz Markley, it's Altitude Chaz is his handle on Twitter. He was in that breakout. He made a bunch of money on it.
Well, you can see that squeeze that he was talking about happened there in March, at the beginning of March.
Yep, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
That Bollinger Band inside the Keltner, and boom. Yeah, you can see
Mm-hmm.
that. That's crazy. That's cool. I'm going to be looking for that every time.
Yeah, I know. Now we need to be opening Think or Swim accounts, right?
That's well, you don't need that. I'll be looking for that on every chart.
Yeah, well, and you could
Look
train
how
your eye
deep
on it.
they're
Hey,
in.
let
Look
me
how
show you a
deep they're
couple of
in
them
on
in
that one.
GameStop.
That's
I don't have
crazy.
the squeeze indicator on it, but I did prepare a few charts to show tonight of that kind of stuff. And so I'm going to show GME February breakouts. Look at
Have you
that.
been making money on your GME this week?
Oh, I
and
don't
last
have
week?
any right now, but
Oh,
I was
okay.
in this one. Listen, I bought calls for 70 cents that were trading over $12 afterwards.
Yeah, I know that. I want to do that too.
Well, I'm about to show you exactly the setup, and it's one of those squeezes. So here's where it happened. Chris, can you zoom in on that blue zone in February? Just show the month of February, and then we're good. No, just February. Just
I
February.
mean,
Because it's
okay.
with that big run up, it's too much. It just makes the rest of that chart muddy.
Oh,
No, cut
okay,
off
so you
all
don't
that
want
run
that.
up. I don't want to see January, just February. There you go. That's good. Perfect. Why does it look like that?
Yeah, because I'm just showing
Oh, you got to
February.
change the time
So,
frame on the bars now. I see.
what do you want? 1
Make
hour?
them 30-minute bars.
That's only 20 days.
Yeah, that's
My
okay.
1 hour is 90 days.
Okay, do
Oh,
that
okay.
one.
So
Okay, yeah,
let me
and
go
then cut
back.
off a lot of that stuff on the right. Like what I really just want to see is February. I don't want to see March.
That's why I was saying you have to go
Oh,
to
to the 1
here.
hour. Okay.
Yeah.
Dang.
So you want to
Oh, and then you
see.
can cut that
Whoops.
stuff off. Okay,
Come
cool.
on, you son of a. There we go. So you want to see that.
Yeah, yeah. So, man, I have a really good chart of this that you can't see because here's the problem. It's like that run. You can't cut off on the right side more. Yeah, just
Yeah.
cut off those huge run ups and zoom in on that breakout. I mean, you could see a squeeze happening there. Yeah, and then maybe just switch it to 30 minutes. Like we want to get really zoomed in to that
I
breakout
can't.
just at the right side of your screen.
All right, hold on. Hold on a second. I'll get you hooked up here in just a second. There you go.
Well, the problem is that the breakout just makes it too small. I want to show the base. And every time you zoom around on this thing, it blows out the range. Yeah, that's what I want to see, where you're just hovering.
Do you want
there.
this breakout right here?
Yeah, that's the breakout I'm trying to see.
There you go.
Okay. You might have to, like, cut off the breakout.
That's a 30. This is a 30-minute. And
I know. It
will
was
take
so
out the
insane. It
breakout
went
now.
up, like, hundreds of percent. Yeah, cut off the breakout. Don't show the breakout. Right there. Yeah. Perfect. Okay, so I wish we could see just a little more. But the point is, like, it did a major squeeze right there after, and it's a beautiful cup and handle setup. Perfect. That's it. That's it. That's it.
trying.
Exactly the chart. Now scroll to the right a little more. I know we have a time lag. Sorry. Try and show just as it surges without going all the way up. That's it. Okay, so remember I was talking about those 3 blue bars on the last chart? You could see them right here. You see they appear as like 3 red bars.
Oh, these right here?
Yeah, those ones. That's when I put the trade on.
This is when the squeeze started.
Right. So it was
It
after that
released here.
squeeze, I saw it break out and hold above it. I'm like, this thing's gonna moonshot.
Okay.
And I almost texted you right then, Chris. I almost texted you. I wish I did.
Don't worry about it. I probably wouldn't have taken it. Be honest with you.
Yeah. So anyway, like,
I don't like trades like that.
really, I mean, where it's flagging above that, above the base like that. Oh, those are beautiful. Those are the best. My point
My
is,
brother
like,
told me about this trade before. Like he told me before anybody was onto GME. He told me about this trade, and I told him no.
well, this was a second breakout though. It had that
No, you
big
don't
run
understand.
up.
He knew about this before what is that guy? Good fucking value or whatever his name is.
Oh, all the way back then when it was like $4 a share.
Before him, yes, when it was $4 a fucking share.
Yeah, well, that's when that guy loaded the boat. Back, it was like August of
told him,
2020.
nope, not interested.
Yeah, well, yeah, it was uninteresting back then. But but this is different. This was the slam dunk. This was a layup trade. So anyway, I mean that's one of my golden trades right there. And the point is, it squeezed, and then it broke out, held real strong, and you don't have to be early. You can be late. Just wait for the right setup. Mm-hmm. Like I was late on this. I was like buying those calls when it was like 5 points higher. Didn't matter. Mm-hmm. They were still cheap. They were cheap until it surged. And anyway, I bring it up because was it ITA we were talking about? It looks kind of like that.
Right. Well, we'd have to go to war.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. The war stocks are running. It's scary, but I mean, that's what the charts are saying. I mean, it did get weak though. It did a full back test. ITA did. The GameStop did not. So
if we go to war again, I have a feeling there's going to be another run on the Capitol.
It's going to be another what?
Another run on the Capitol, and this time I don't think they're going to go in there without weapons.
Dude, that would be crazy.
Veterans are fucking tired, man.
They're going to upgrade from a bullhorn?
Upgrade from a bullhorn to weapons? Yeah, man. Yeah. I don't know. I don't see it. I don't see a run on the Capitol. I think that
it's not going to be that kind of war. I don't think there's going to be any kind of war because I don't think there can be any kind of traditional war like we've ever known. Like with drones and everything the way it is now, it's way different than even 10 years ago.
Oh, wait a second. I'm not saying that the next war is going to be a run on the Capitol. I think that the next war will be the causation for another
civil
run
unrest.
On the Capitol.
You're saying, yeah, okay. So there's geopolitical instability. Maybe China takes Taiwan. India and Pakistan go at it on their border. What else?
Market data connection.
Yeah, there's a lot of flashpoints around the world. I mean, Hong Kong is already effectively taken by China.
Nobody's going to jail over January 6th. So there's no deterrent there for that not to happen again.
Yeah, but who's going there? It'd be completely different people. I mean, the Trump people aren't going back there. What would be the point?
It would be, well, that's what I'm saying. It's going to be vets, and most of the vets are Trump people.
Lost.
Yeah.
Or libertarians.
I mean, there's people who think that Biden isn't even broadcasting from the White House. They think that he's beaming out from a movie set, a Castle Rock movie set of the White House. I don't know if it's true or not.
Those fucking people are nuts. What is that? What is that? What are those? Not MAGA. Q.
Yeah, I mean, they have some good points, though. Like, where's that little Secret Service box on the White House desk? I don't know. But, I mean, at the same time, like...
the only thing I saw was the microphone. His hand going through the microphone.
Oh, yeah, I saw that too, man. That was crazy.
All that stuff doesn't even matter.
You're right.
In my opinion, it's pretty obvious. I mean, I'm not even taking sides. It's pretty obvious that someone else is running Biden right now. Biden's not functionally president. He's a waif of a person. He's not even, he doesn't even speak strongly. He's not anything. And I'm not sure it's Kamala either. I don't think it is. In fact, I think Kamala is just there. She giggles at everything she says and stuff. I'm not even sure anybody really is in charge. Like, I think they're trying to, because you look at they're having a summit for climate with Xi Jinping and Putin. I mean, that's a laughing stock that they would even do such a thing. Who's thinking this up? That's not foreign policy making. That's craziness.
Who's
Yeah.
So
having a
I
summit
don't know
with
what's
those two?
going on, but it's disturbing either way, and it's disturbing when Trump's there too. It's all disturbing.
Yeah, I
Who's
agree.
having a
It's
summit?
really bizarre.
Well,
The
supposedly
U.S.
Biden
is.
is going to have a summit. That's what the news was a week ago. Biden called for a climate summit with Xi
Market data
Jinping
connection
of
lost.
China and Putin.
Uh-huh. Huh.
Well,
I
and
don't see
now
that
they're talking
happening after
about
Putin
aren't
called them out.
Well, I see it happening because those two guys will get a chance to make fun of Biden. Of course they'll do it, man. What
well,
a joke that would be.
I mean, there's more going on than climate summit too. That's a part of it, but the other part of it isn't there's banking regulation changes that are happening. What is it, the SLR requirement or something for
Yeah, that
banks?
too.
That's
Right.
changing at the same time as the climate summit. And then aren't they talking about like another $3 trillion spending package or something like that, fiscal spending package? So, I mean, there's a lot of stuff going on right now like that. And you saw all those security breaches, all the computer hacking news that was coming out like at the end of 2020.
Market data connection re-established.
Yeah.
So what does that mean? Are all the brokers all hacked now? Because like, I mean, you want to
Market
cause
data connection
chaos,
lost.
make it
One
so
thing
people
I
can't
have
see
to
their bank
always remind
accounts.
myself about when you read news like that, like hacking news, like something got hacked. Okay, why is it news now? Because I'll be honest with you, that kind of stuff, I'm sure big hacks that you'd never hear about the big hacks until years later. And they're going on all the time. And
Right.
and then they sandbag that stuff and use it when they need it to get
Right.
us
And that's
worried,
exactly what we
you
saw
know?
in November
Yeah,
and December or whenever that
exactly.
was, January.
Yes. Yes.
So, I mean, here's the big one. The big one is DTCC. I
Market
don't know if you
data
guys
connection
remember the
re-established.
stories. I think it was all the way back in 2011. There was a flood that
Yes.
happened in New York. I think it was in New York. There was some kind of a small flood that happened, and the DTCC facility got flooded, and so they made some permanent. They made some changes which became permanent, I think, with regards to stock shares owned in street name. Are you familiar with this? So when you buy shares in your account, unless it's a cash account and you're taking like possession of those shares, the shares in your margin account are held in street name, which means that DTCC is actually the owner of those shares and you have a claim on them, or it's something to that effect. And
That's only if you have margin, because I don't ever use margin.
yeah, I think if you have a cash account, I think by default your shares are not held in street name. Um,
Okay,
But
good.
the thing about it is, what they used to do is when you held the shares, they used to like actually allocate physical shares to your broker. But that flood event in 2011 changed things. I think it was 2011. Don't quote me on that. It changed things, and they moved to a purely digital format. And so now they're not actually moving physical shares around. I mean, there are big blocks of shares, like certificates of shares that used to be vaulted, and every broker had essentially like claims on blocks of shares on behalf of their customers, and it doesn't work like that anymore. It's all like digital now. So if that stuff gets, the reason I bring it up is like, if that stuff really gets hacked, well, what then? How are you going to sort that out?
Right.
I mean, that
I
could
hear you.
get really messy. I mean, and I guess the other one would be like if the Treasury gets hacked or the Federal Reserve gets hacked. I mean,
I think they already are hacked. Why wouldn't they be? And how hard could it be if you're really determined to know what you're doing? Honestly, if you think about it, the thing is once you get in, then what do you do? I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I'm not sure that there's not. I don't know. That's a really good question because in my mind that's already been done. But maybe no payoff. I don't know.
Well,
You can't.
I
How
think
can you steal money? Is that what you're trying to do? What are you trying to do when you break in there? You know,
Well,
I guess steal money from
here's
other
my
people,
opinion about
right?
that. It would be foreign sovereign hackers that are doing that, right? Like, I mean,
But my point is it would be totally traceable in the end, back traceable, and you could take appropriate sanctions and basically create the money out of thin air the next day. And I'm not, how much could they get away with it is the real question. What
yeah.
could they get away with? And that's why I think it's not ever really been a big deal, and may never would be a big
Market
threat
data
So
because
connection
this did
re-established.
come up in
it's
Rick
like
and
breaking
Morty.
into Fort Knox. You break into Fort Knox and you load all that gold in your truck, right? What are you gonna
Yeah.
do? Get away? Come on.
Yeah, well, there was an episode of Rick and Morty where he said that I'm going to destroy this empire by changing one number from a 1 to a 0, and it was the value of their currency. So I mean that's I don't know that it would be something
That's
like
funny.
that. But my point is that they could maybe somehow do some kind of industrial sabotage type of thing. I mean, if they make it so that those banking institutions can't function because
Yeah,
of
that's a good point. Yeah, you could
yeah.
lock up
If
the
they got
system
into
and
the
that would be a
overnight
problem.
window, that
Yeah.
would be all. That would
And
be
yeah,
all
so
the
like clearing firms, clearing firms, central banks, I mean, these if they're infiltrated, that could be the kind of war event that we're seeing set up in these war stocks. I mean, if they're really going to move, something like that happening all at once across multiple targets is what I'd expect to see. So it's something to keep an eye on. The banks wouldn't be ripping if that was the case, though. The banks would be
I
acting
hadn't
funny.
thought of that.
Yeah. So the banks aren't acting funny
Now
yet,
we're
but
going to have another conventional war. We're just going to have advanced weapons. We're not ready for computer wars yet.
yeah, but where? Where would it be, Chris? Would it be
We're going back
like
to the Middle East.
in
We're
the
going
Middle
right back
East?
to the Middle East. Yeah, Syria,
Yeah.
Iran, that area, because Israel and the Saudi Empire are not happy with Iran right now. They're really fucking pissed off. So
Yeah.
that is definitely, an area of interest.
Yeah, that's a flashpoint. But I mean, so is Taiwan.
Let me say this: it wouldn't surprise me to see some kind of move that it might not be obvious that who's responsible, but something where Israel and Saudi actually work together to embarrass Biden because, yeah, they don't like what Biden's doing trying to negotiate with Iran. That's a big deal.
Yeah.
I can see that. I think behind the scenes, people are really upset with Biden, and they've already drank the spoiled milk, and they want Trump back, and there's nothing they can do about it. So now they're stuck like Chuck for 4 years, unless they off this dementia patient. But who's next? I mean, look, who do you got next coming up? Kamala. Oh, great.
Yeah.
That's why Wall Street's doesn't know what to do because they don't know if Biden's going to kick it or not. And then they're looking at Kamala and they're like, oh, Christ, her.
So one way to keep tabs on this is be watching the stock market shares for these different flashpoints. I got EWT up, which is a Taiwan chart, and this to me it looks like it is just fearless. I don't see any fear in this chart. I'm gonna flip over to India right now. INDA.
What chart is that?
EWT is Taiwan. That's a Taiwan ETF. I have an ETF list. I'm going to show it on the screen right now so people can pause the video and or screenshot that or whatever.
Wow, look at that chart.
EWT, EWA, yeah, I know.
Yeah,
Pretty
and
relentless for a year.
and then India is INDA. I mean that one, it looks a little weaker, but it's just range bound near the highs. That's okay. I don't see fear there. RSX is Russia. That one's similar chart. It had a false breakout. This one looks weaker than India to me. It looks weaker than Taiwan. Taiwan looked strongest out of the three. Where else?
If there was anything I wish I could have traded in 1989 is the ruble.
Yeah. Well, wasn't it in '98 where they defaulted? The Russian ruble.
No, it
Didn't the Russian?
was 89.
I thought it was
When
98.
the ruble crashed?
Yeah. Might have been 89 as well. So EWH is Hong Kong. That one actually looks kind of weakish for being so near the highs. Because I see a series of lower highs and lower lows. That makes me skeptical of that one. But you know what? It could very easily go up and make a handle and break out to new highs. So I'm not going to take a negative view on EWH. Let's see. EEM, Chris had on his watch list. That one's beaten down quite a bit. EEM looks a lot like ARK right now.
Yeah, EEM is struggling over in China right now.
In China? Okay, well, let's look at FXI. Yeah, you're right. China looks super weak. And by the way, like if you want to know great stuff to short, if you're into shorting, I think shorting Chinese companies because their accounting can be misleading. It can mislead people in other countries, the accounting coming out of Chinese companies. And so one place where we saw that was Luckin Coffee. I mean, that would have been a great short when everyone was excited about it. Oh, yeah, the Starbucks of China. Well, we have a similar thing right now, and I mean, I don't know that there's any accounting issues, but we have the Tesla of China is NIO. And I know it had a big, strong update today, but, you know, it's if I'm in a short an electric vehicle maker, it's not going to be a U.S. one. It's probably going to be like a Chinese one.
Market data connection loss.
One question I would have about Tesla is how much leverage China has over them too,
Market
because
data
that could be an
connection
issue.
reestablished.
Yeah.
Oh, because
you're
of
right
the
about that.
Gigafactory?
Well, so it's a lot of things. It's the
I mean, obviously, they Tesla can lose all the equity they may or may not even have in that as it is. My guess is they don't even have any anyway. But and who knows with their accounting? You can't know what's going on over there. But if there was any kind of leverage or exposure that Tesla had to that factory in China, given what you're talking about, that could hurt them seriously too.
Yeah, are you talking about that factory that got lit up? Like it just like completely exploded, that battery factory?
No, I don't think that was a Tesla factory, was it?
Somebody said it was, but I don't know if that's true. The Tesla
think it
stock
was.
didn't really
That was-
react to it like I thought it would if it was a Tesla
No.
factory.
I don't think it was.
Yeah, I mean, that was wild. Did you see that clip?
Yeah, it was crazy that when that happened. I definitely thought maybe some kind of war was starting.
Yeah, it looked like that to me too. But you know what though? They blow up stuff like that in China every few years. It seems like. I mean, I've got a whole bunch of videos like that in the archive of just like stuff just going supernova in China.
Wait until that dam blows, man. If you've seen the pictures of that dam, how it looks wobbly, man. That thing's
Oh
gonna
man.
come down one day. That thing is a problem.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a great point.
Yeah, Neo doesn't look very strong at all.
Yeah, and you know it's got that same support level like ARK and Tesla that it bounced off of. The biotechs even they have that same support. But I mean, how far up is it going to run from this? Like if it's lucky, it just made a double bottom for like some kind of deep, crazy base. But I don't see it. I mean, this chart is broken. These electric vehicle maker charts have been broken. Like if you look at Nikola, it's just dead money. I mean, who knows how long Nikola is going to crawl along the bottom, and so the point is a lot of the speculative fervor from this sector. I mean, look, the easy money's been made. The big run up's already happened. So yeah, I mean,
I don't know when it's gonna all be exposed, but I don't think Tesla is anything more than an accounting fraud, and that's it.
Yeah, I mean,
That's just personally what I feel. I really feel that.
They've driven some innovation in battery tech, and that has also popped up in the solar space. And so if you look at the solar ETF, I mean, I'm not saying to switch over there, but if you look at the solar ETF, it also ran up. And so, I mean, there's been some innovation there. And also, one of my hobbies is artificial intelligence. And so I know that there's been some innovation in artificial intelligence driven by Tesla as well. So there is innovation coming from there. But how that translates to profits, like are they going to be like the next Google or something? Or or is their fleet of robo taxis going to take over? I don't see that. Not in anywhere near the time frame that today's optimistic investors are expecting, in my view.
Yeah.
So, and as far as accounting, yeah, there's a lot of funny stuff going on there. Like, I've read stories about people that have been double charged for a Tesla because they essentially allowed Tesla to pull their money straight from their bank account, and Tesla charged them twice so that they can show all this like money coming in for the quarter. And then once the quarter ends, they're going to refund the money. I
will say this Neo chart is looking like it's getting close to that squeeze that Chris was talking about earlier with the Bollinger Bands inside the Keltner Bands. Looks like one's close to happening.
On the daily right now. Yeah, if it keeps trading really tight where it is right now, then that'll happen. But I mean, it'll take a little time to set up. Again, guys, like here's my motto: like better to be late than early. There's still plenty of cheap options to be had when you're late and right.
Market
That's
data
a good
connection
philosophy.
reestablished.
Yeah, I'm actually going to put like a little overlay on the channel for some of those little mottos because I've got Twitter handles up, and that it's not financial advice because I mean, how can we do financial advice here? We don't know people's time frames and stuff like that. I mean, we're not registered, whatever. I mean, you make a trade, you own your trade. That's how it always was where I come from. All right, have you got it sorted out, Chris?
Yeah.
Cool. All right, I'm gonna go quiet for a minute and let you talk us through it.
All right. So with the fib time and price, and this is based on this head and shoulders only. With the fib time and price, I've managed to find a short possibility, which would put us into May. The $14 strike, and the 50 SMA has already turned down. So if it continues the trajectory,
which stock is this?
Take a lot for this thing to turn, and now that it's turned, I feel that it may come up and get to here. It may come up and try and touch the 50. But eventually, I believe it's going to fail.
That's what I was going to point out. Like it's going to test that 50-day.
Which stock is this?
This is Neo.
This is the Neo. Oh,
yeah. It's going to test that 50-day at some point. And so, if you're going to try to short, you don't want to short it when the price is low because when a stock's going down, it can have huge what do they call it? Bear market rallies that just rip your face off. If you're long puts.
Excuse me. Right.
So
devalue your puts.
Yeah, I mean, just let it set up. It's not in a setup right now. It's got that huge support level right under it. It just bounced. If you're going to short it. So anyway, yeah, that's all I was going to say is I'd be looking to wait for those moving averages to kind of converge, and it may even make some like a failed breakout, where it is sucking a lot of people, and then the rug gets pulled. And I mean on a short time horizon, like you won't even see it on a daily chart. But if you zoom in, you look at 15-minute charts. We were talking about earlier tonight those like failed breakouts and failed breakdowns. These are great signals.
Hold on.
It's starting to get cold in here. It's supposed to drop down to like 45 here tonight. I cracked the window earlier, but can't have it like that.
All right, so we're going to do all optionable. Excuse me. We're going to change this to SMA or crosses. You guys can go ahead and chat it up. I'm just trying to set an alert for this on the 50.
Oh, yeah, cool. So when it gets within some percentage of the 50?
Right.
Yeah.
Let me get rid of it.
So, we're Tony. Do you go by Tony on here? You want me to call you Tony? I mean, I know you got a whole bunch of different names, but
Yeah, you can call me Ray. You can call me Jay.
all right, sure. Ray, Jay.
Remember?
How
You
about
don't
Jack?
remember those? You don't remember those commercials?
Oh
Yeah.
no! Dang it! I was about to ask you if you remembered something.
Light beer
You beat
from
me
Miller
to it.
commercials from football back in the day.
Okay.
But no, Tony's fine if you can remember. Whatever you want to call me.
Well, it shows Tony right here. So
Okay, good.
I mean, I know you're probably making it up. Like I may as well call you Jack. It doesn't matter. But
No, I'm really go by Tony.
okay, all right, Tony, cool. Well, I mean that's fine. Were you in the 2008 crash? You remember that one? Were you paying attention to that or?
Sure, you bet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So funny thing about that one is like the rip your face off rallies. Like people who are like, oh yeah, this market's going down, and they got short, and then the TARP package comes out and gaps the market up 10%.
Yeah,
Market data connection
I didn't
loss.
make money off of that.
Oh man, that was crazy. I mean, I don't know if you were like long
Market
going into
data
that or what,
connection
but I mean, that
reestablished.
market was tough to trade. So my point is, like, when things start really going down, you got those you can wait for those opportunities to
I
get
wasn't
short.
trading back then. I was more just buying stocks long, and I actually did sell most of my, you know.
You saw the
sellout
fucking rip on
into
that one,
cash.
huh?
Well, no, when it came down about like 25%, I sold most of everything,
Market
and then I
data
kept a
connection
lot
loss.
till after the gap up that you're talking about, and then I got back in. I didn't do
Market
bad, but I
data
didn't do as
connection
good. I didn't
reestablished.
lose everything either.
Yeah, that was a wild market. I mean,
That's before
I
I got
had
interested in. I mean, I've always been interested in the stock market, but that's before I really got interested in options trading. Really.
yeah. Oh, I've only been doing options trading since June of last year, so I'm still relatively new to the options side of things. But as far as like macro views and trading sectors, things like that, I've got a lot of experience with that. But yeah, I mean, I think that the options trading is where it's at. I wanted to read a quick little
Trading
story
connection
from one of these books, but I couldn't find it. So I also wanted to show off something cool. You're probably not watching on the stream right now, but what I have here is this is an old data DVD. These are disktrading.com historical futures prices, continuous and historic indices CDs. And these are from 2010. Yeah, they were brand new in 2010 when I bought them, and they went back like a long time. Anyway, and it's Ninja Trader compatible, Metastock compatible, ASCII formats. I think they had CSV. It has tick data, it has 1 minute data, it has daily data.
Wow.
It even has a zip program on the CD, so you don't have to go out to the internet to get it.
This isn't what I want.
Well, that Neo has dropped down to the 200-day average, pretty close.
Yeah, Interactive Brokers kicked me off. They do this thing every night. I'm surprised they still do it, but right around this time at night, they make you quit out of their app. It's just bizarre.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's been like that for like the entire time I've had IB for like 15 years. It's like that every single night. I don't know why they can't fix that.
Huh.
But yeah, they kick everyone off for like 5 minutes or something. So anyway, I just closed it.
They're probably resetting their servers. They probably
Yeah.
do it every night.
Yeah, but I mean, this is the era of cloud. Like cloud came and went, and like they never got on board. You kidding me?
There's reasons not to go to cloud if they're not using cloud.
Yeah.
I mean,
That's
I
a
work
good
for-
point. They
I work for
are
a big
very
data
reliable.
company.
There's so many other brokers have outages, and like IB will be doing fine.
yeah, I work for the biggest data company in the world actually, and I can tell you we do use cloud for some things, but There's reasons not
Yeah,
to.
I used to work for a cloud company, and every time I heard people trying to like build like connections to Amazon into their product, or it's like they want to they want to build something with Amazon. It's like, dudes, first of all, we're a cloud provider. Use our own stuff, okay? Eat your own dog food,
Yeah,
And second
yeah,
of all, like if you use
that's
the
true.
Amazon product, if Amazon has an outage, your product's gonna have an outage too. And your main point, your main selling point to somebody is if Amazon goes down, you're still going to be up. So you're destroying your value proposition by
We are
making
our
your
own
cloud
cloud.
product use Amazon stuff.
Well, we all of our products are on a cloud, but it's ours. We don't,
Right, right.
using Azure or anything like that.
Yep. There's ways to set up your own cloud infrastructure. I mean, you can do it. I mean, I worked for a company that did build up its own cloud. So
Okay, that didn't work.
oh,
I'm gonna
you're
have to
trying to
play
get an
this
alert on
because
it?
I've not done a moving average alert before.
So you're saying you think it'll reach its 50-day average before it's moved down.
There's a good probability.
That trade alone would be a very nice trade because
Yeah,
it
to
would
the
be
long
just starting
side.
it today. Yeah, just from now to then.
Well,
That
I
could
was
happen pretty quick
showing
with
the
this
ARC
stock.
trade earlier. Zoomed in on ARC intraday, and it's Neo's doing the same thing, similar to like ARC, and it was just very clear in ARC when it looked like it was going to break down. The breakdown failed at the open, and it just essentially ran all day, and it flagged sideways, and then it ran again. It looked really good today. Just like how
Hey
that
y'all,
Neo
I'm gonna
candle's really strong.
run downstairs and grab a smoke. Just a clip. I'll be right back. I'll be back in like 2-3 minutes.
Okay, cool. I
I
don't mean to
might
keep
have
you
to
guys up
leave.
all night either, because I don't know what time you have to get up. I'm fine hanging out. It doesn't matter to me.
Yeah, well, yeah, I think I'm fixing to leave, but you guys keep me here because this is really cool. I'm looking at all these charts with you and looking at them in
Yeah, it's a lot of
different
fun.
ways. Different ways.
Probably here in a couple of days we'll come back on again. If you want to join, I can send you the Google Meet when we do. The one thing I'll say is like we never really have a scripted time for this, which probably hurts the show. But I mean,
Well,
my schedule is
that's
just too hectic to pin
that's all
down a
right. That's
time.
your worry, not mine. I join whenever I can, so I haven't been
Yeah,
able to join all of yours live. I usually watch most of them. I think I probably missed a few, but just to me, the chance, you're not the only one that does something like this. But yours is really, really helpful, more helpful, and it may just be the way I learn, but than a lot of the others are. But it's just really great for me to see what people go through on their homework. I like that you call it homework. I thought that was a good name because
yeah.
you
Thanks.
know,
It's
just because
that
I never know if I haven't had a lot of success yet. I haven't had one of these home runs you're talking about, which is fine. I'm more conservative, but
Yeah, that's okay. We're gonna call them out. I'm gonna call out the opportunities on here when I see them line up,
well, I
and
like
we're
this
gonna be looking
Maxar
for
one.
those
I'm
A
glad y'all
plus
like it so
trades.
much. Yeah. Well, that'll help, Like that's one thing I've been trying to learn is how to notice the really good ones, and that's why I like bringing up Maxar to you. And I like seeing the different idea on MOS because I think I'm probably a little more bullish on it than you guys, but I don't know if I have any good reasons to be, other because I know it's not technically the most attractive chart in the world, although it does look strong for a long run.
Yeah, that thing. I remember back in like 2007, 2008, like that stock pot was Potash,
Yeah,
Mosaic. Those stocks were
yeah,
really running, and then once the carry trade collapsed, that's it. It was over.
right.
So you got to watch the carry trade on that.
Well, that was then. Now
Yeah.
is things are different now too because of how much dollars have been printed and how much are going to be printed.
All right, I'm back.
Hey,
That
Chris.
carry trade is yeah, I don't know. That carry trade, I think it's just moved around to different uh, currencies, hasn't it?
Well, I think I think that, the run in consumer staples and like John Deere and Caterpillar and stuff like that, like Mosaic and Potash, like they're a part of that. And with the ags running up, like it's like it's a commodity cycle going on, and they're going to run probably for a while. So I mean, if your time frame is long, and you're if you're carrying shares, I don't know if you have options. If you have options, then it's it gets real tactical real quick. But if you're just carrying shares, like looks like a strong uptrend to me.
Leaps. Ooh.
Yeah, I'm preoccupied by nursing this ARK credit spread that I put on.
So ARK, Neo, Tesla, all of these stocks, those Bollinger Bands are closing in on those Keltners. All of them, man. All of them are close.
Yeah, I think it's a short-term bottom put in on these. But the charts are broken, though.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't know.
Well, here's an example I can give you, though, is when Tesla had its big run-up in like 2019, it actually had a little over a 50% collapse. And then it built a base and it ran back up again. So, but the point is, like, after it crashed, there wasn't big money to be made until you waited and let it build that base again. If you're bottom fishing and you got it, well, okay, great. That's maybe lucky, or maybe you used some kind of like oversold metric and timed it just right. That's possible. But really, the big money, I think, was made after it set up and made another base and then broke out again.
That was actually the first options trade I ever made. I was traveling on the road that day, or one of those days that week, and I got in the morning and turned on my computer, and it was a 4-bagger, and I sold it right that minute. That's when I had bought puts, $2,000 worth of puts. I made $8,000. It was great.
Oh, on that drop in Tesla in 2019?
Yeah. It was like the first option trade I ever played. And
yeah.
So,
hey, let me share with you my overbought indicators that I use to look for those
setups. That ever happened to me too.
What's that?
I said that was the worst thing that ever happened to me, to make that kind of money on the first option trade.
Oh, that was your first options trade, and that happened?
Yeah, well,
wow.
First. Practically, maybe not exactly, but you can imagine what happened after that.
Yeah. Well, here's what I like to do, by the way, and this signal flagged at that time in Tesla as well, is if you look at on the daily RSI and the weekly RSI, when they're both over 80, this happens when these stocks are running up and they're in zones where they can be vulnerable to shocks like that or crashes. So, like, example is a recent one is Viacom. That's the one we've been looking at? I bet you before it had that crash that both the daily and the weekly RSI was over 80. In fact, I'm going to go look right now.
Did you short it?
Did I short it? No.
When you saw that?
All right, check this out. Here's how high it was.
I didn't remember seeing you say anything. But
no, I wasn't. It wasn't on my radar until after it dropped. But the weekly RSI on Viacom was over 90. In fact, it was almost 100 on the weekly RSI. And the daily before it dropped was over 80. So both of those two things were true. And they were true for a while, okay? So it stayed in the state for a while. So just because these two things trigger, all that means is start paying attention, watch for the false breakout or some kind of like head and shoulders pattern, and then you could position with puts. So that's how I play those. I did tweet out. You can look at my tweets back from when Moderna made that major top. I called it out. I said, look, here's some of my my indicators I use to watch for tops. And I called the top on Moderna like almost to the day. Did I trade that? No, because those aren't necessarily like the best. It can sometimes take a while for these things to top.
Yeah.
But anyway, like the point is, those are some helpful indicators that I know of for timing tops like that. If you want to try and reproduce that Tesla trade on other stocks, that's a helpful metric. Oh, there is a third indicator too. Here's what it is. If the stock is more than 1.9 times its 50-day SMA. And so if you notice on every chart that I put up, I have a 50 period SMA there. It's so that I can perform that calculation. So I can tell you right now, I'm looking at the Viacom share price, and the 50 period SMA, 50-day SMA was on the day of the peak, it was around 60. And so if I take 60 and put it in the calculator, times it by 1.9, hang on one second, I'll tell you. So I'm going to take 60, put it in the calculator, times 1.9, and I get 114. So that would be like an extreme reading there. So it didn't quite hit that third metric, but it had the other two.
Interesting.
So anyway, yeah, just take the 50 period SMA on the daily, multiply it by 1.9, and that's your any price higher than that is extremely overbought. And again, it can stay like that for a while, but at least when you know what those overbought conditions are, then you can watch for the trade to set up on the short side. And you can also screen for those.
Yeah, I'm going to start screening for those.
Yeah, I mean, all you have to do is just look at the stocks that are up the most, and then you can look at those three metrics, and they can confirm for you, or you can screen for them. But like I go on Finviz and I just look at show me the stocks that are up the most, and then I apply those criteria, and if they all three are true, it's like okay, now I'm watching for downside setups, and I'll try and start calling some of those out on the show if I see these things set up. I'm a lot of times I'm looking at those kind of things before I do the show, and I do look at some of them during the show, but I'll try and have some of those prepared. So anyway, those are the three criteria, and I'll post the replay for this video if you wanted to go back and watch it and write them down.
Oh, I already wrote them down.
Okay, cool.
Well, listen,
and by the
go
way,
ahead and go.
What's that?
I say I'm going to go ahead and go off here.
Okay, yeah, cool. But I did do quite a bit of study on these those three metrics I told you, and the starting point for the 50-day SMA times 1.9 that came from studies I did in Excel, starting with Taser as a model. So back in like 2004, when Taser was running up, that was my model for it.
Well, that's been a long time. Thank you.
Yeah. Cool. Thanks for coming on the show, Tony. I'll beam it out to
Thanks
you.
For inviting me to talk. I appreciate it.
Yeah, I'll beam it out to you the calendar or not the calendar, the Google Meet next time we come on too. So yeah, just if you come on here and I see you, then I'll DM you the link.
All right. Anytime I catch it, anytime I can catch it, I will. Unfortunately, I got other things going on, and I do this part time. I'm just trying to learn for now.
Sure. Yeah. All good.
But I appreciate you very much, and I'll catch you again for sure. A lot.
Thanks. Well, thanks for coming on the show. It was great to meet you.
Have a good one. You're welcome.
Tony, take care, man.
You're welcome. Talk to you later, Chris.
Bye.
All right. Adios. So we're looking at Walmart, getting ready for Walmart trade.
Yeah, I got two contracts. Two contracts for the 132 strike in the April OPEX based on, get out of here.
And you're talking about puts. You got puts on?
Yeah, based on the 50 converging with the upward channel.
Oh, yeah.
See it?
Yep. And it really respects that line.
And I have a move down to 125.
I was really surprised with that downdraft in February on Walmart.
This is what I'm looking at. Right there-ish. Right around here. Let me get rid of this.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that line.
So
This
you got
line.
like 2.5 weeks to get there. Yeah,
Yep.
I could do it.
So we're going to make this blue, and we're going to make it a dotted, and we're going to put this on 3 so it stands out. There we go. So that's where I want to get to.
Yeah, I see it. Looks like a solid trade. I mean, it's definitely hit resistance there. It's not just the line that's resistance. There's that brown horizontal line you've got drawn that's just above it that is
This one?
also resistance. I mean, the point is, like, if it's going to turn here, it's going to turn here pretty quick. And if it doesn't, then you just punch out.
Right.
Now, the way that you're putting on this trade, can you talk about that a little bit? Are you out of the money? Are you at the money? I know your calendar. I just don't know. Oh, you said the 132. Okay.
And I'm trying to get in for 75 cents per. Right now it's trading at 82 or 91. So I'm looking for a 20% discount.
I got you.
Yeah.
Can you put the chart back up for Walmart one more time?
Absolutely.
Okay, so you're slightly out of the money.
Yeah, I'm $3 out of the money.
Yeah. Yeah, I like that trade.
I'm doing that because I'm adding time.
What would you grade it?
Really, it depends on tomorrow. If it drops tomorrow, then I'd grade it a 80%. If it doesn't drop tomorrow, I'd grade it a 20%.
Okay. Yeah. So it's a hit or miss, and you'll know real quick.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yep. But that's how I do.
Yeah. I mean, you're trading levels. It's at the level, so be ready for it. Cool.
Right. Yep.
All right. Well, Chris, I know you're 1 hour later on time zone than me. I don't want to keep you up too late.
Nah, it's 1:45. I got to get my girlfriend up in about 15 minutes. So
I got you.
So we're good.
Cool.
I wish I got to figure out how to do an alert on the 50.
How about we hop over to FinViz and see what's really moving? You want to do that?
Sure.
Okay, let me put the FinViz window up.
Oh, you doing it? All right, cool.
Yeah, I mean you can look too if you want, but I'll put it up here.
I will watch it on YouTube.
Okay, so I'm gonna go to screener here. Actually, you know what? Let's not do that. I've been doing something else lately where I go to if I hit top gainers. Oh my gosh, look at that thing! It's huge. It's a penny stock though, just about. So we can filter this. If you go to filters and then say optionable and shortable, and then we go over to overview and we sort on volume, and I want highest volume first, and then we go back to the snapshot view. We could filter it on price. I don't care about these penny stocks. Let me get that filter on there.
Right. Don't you love all those fucking pop-ups?
Yeah, I'm thinking about buying FinViz just so I don't have, you go get the elite package or whatever, just so I don't have all these pop-ups. It's super annoying.
It is.
It seems like if I'm streaming, then I get like twice as many pop-ups. It's like they know. Isn't that weird?
That's fun.
Descriptive price. Where's price?
Yeah, I like FinViz.
Price, let's do over $15. Okay. And we've got the snapshot view up. I'm starting to like this snapshot view quite a bit because you get these little stats here. It gives you the chart. There's news.
Other than that, the screeners, I have all the same stuff that they have on my trading.
Oh, on the
platform.
Thinkorswim? Yeah, look
Yeah.
at that X. Man, I got shaken out of this. I had a swoosh position in X. It would have been doing great right now, but I got shaken out. Like where I
Big
got
gap.
in was I think it was right here on this second upswing, and then it faded. And I'm like, well, I can get out for near break even because it's a swoosh. So I got out, and it's just gone straight up since. But this is one of those war plays. It goes along with the ITA theme, so it's kind of spooky that some of this stuff's going up. Plug power, yeah, forget this thing. Look at how good FinViz is, though. It's like drawing the channel on there for you and everything. They've really done a good job with this site. I remember when it was just starting out. It was always good, but it's really good now.
They do a lot of the work for you, right?
What's that?
They do a lot of the work for you.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they're in the right people's hands. This is a very powerful tool. Marathon patent up 15, almost 16% today. I did not know that.
What's that?
So this one is sort of like Riot. It's a blockchain miner. So I don't know what Riot's doing. Let me go take a look at Riot. I saw it wasn't really doing much in the morning. I wasn't really watching stocks at the close much today.
I'm going to look at that. What's plug?
Yeah.
I like the chart pattern.
So Riot's only up 7.5%. So Marathon had like a big outperformance today. Yeah, I'm like gun shy of this market because they took the premium out of everything, and I had a lot of IV exposure. So
dude, you should long plug.
Long plug. All right, wait. Let me look at that. Yeah, I mean it's in that pennant or whatever this thing is.
No.
It's not quite a pennant.
It's in a descending wedge.
Descending wedge. Yeah. Is that what they're calling it? I don't know.
No,
yeah, a pennant is smaller. Let me find a pennant. A pennant is like that. Like in December of 2020, there's like a little pennant there.
I would go long that.
You like plug? Well, here's the thing. Like it's in the same group as Tesla and Neo, and it's down so much that maybe the spring is coiled tighter, and there is this big gap which may or may not still mean something around 40. And so I mean maybe there's a vacuum there for it to go back through it. There's a gap. There's two gaps at 40. There's the one in March, and there's another one from January.
It ain't ready yet, but it's damn close.
Yeah. So maybe zoom in, watch for a chart pattern there. I mean, I don't know. I think maybe it needs a little more time.
I agree.
guess I'm with you on that
because it's descending. The distribution is now coming to a close, and it's going to go into an accumulation. If the squeeze can happen in the next week, then I would take that long. Because look at that wedge.
Yeah. Do you want to? I could switch over to your window if you wanted to look at it. I was just scrolling through these.
That looks like
I got it on yours. Go ahead.
That looks like a breakout wedge, not a breakdown wedge.
Yeah, I agree. So first sign of strength outside the wedge, you could do one of those diagonal bulls that we talked about.
I don't do that. You do that. I do the get in, get out.
Yeah,
don't mean anything by it, man. So there's my 34. This is my 34 SMA, and that would be my target.
And that'll be lower by the time it hits it. It'll be like 40 maybe.
Yeah, ish.
Yeah.
Or it might just get to the beginning of the bottom of the gap.
Well, the wedge is real tight now.
Yeah, it is.
Here's what you have to watch out for with these wedges, though, Chris. I've seen this over and over again where, like, it'll shoot up and it won't quite get to your target, and it'll start going back down again. And so what happens is the top line on your wedge, it gets bumped up a little higher and it still looks good. It's like, oh yeah, it's still a wedge. It's just like the top of it's higher. And it continues on in that new, bigger wedge. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I like this. I like this a lot.
Yeah, I don't know. I've
You
got
know,
burned on
man,
trading those wedges a lot, man. I mean, I trade those a lot less. In 2008, I got cut up on those kind of things.
I'm taking that tomorrow. I'm getting rid of my Walmart. I like this better than Walmart.
Okay.
Oh, you know what? I'll just take this too. I'll do one contract.
Okay. Well, I'm
One
glad we
contract.
looked at it. Let's see what else is going.
One contract,
Next page.
and we'll do the 35.
Oh, here we go. Look at DXC.
I'm trying to get it for $2.
Yeah, go ahead and finish your thought. I don't mean to interrupt, but I got another good one to look at. Wish I saw this one today.
All right. Okay, cool. So I got my 2 trades.
Earnings per share this year minus 596%. DXC. Yeah, this is provides IT services and solutions primarily in North America, Europe, Asia, and Australia. Okay, great. That doesn't really tell me anything.
Yucko.
Accelerate their digital transformation journeys. Wow. Okay.
I don't like that chart at all.
You don't like that? It's at brand new highs. Well, let me look at more than just this little snapshot chart. DXC. Yeah, what don't you like about that? Well, I like it less when I look at a weekly. I mean, if this was in like a blue skies scenario, this would be great. But I mean, there's no volume to this breakout. There's no volume to this breakout. I mean, I know it's still Monday and I'm looking at a weekly chart, but like the volume is weak. I don't know. It looks okay, but you don't like that? You don't like a cup and handle?
I like cup and handles when I see one.
Yeah. This is not a cup and handle breakout to you?
No, because it came down so low.
I mean, on a percentage basis, that's kind of within the range. It's, it didn't even fall 40%, right?
Oops, what am I doing? I got that all backwards.
I mean, it looks like a cup and handle that just broke out today to me, but the volume's not huge.
78%. I mean, it didn't even respect the resistance. It broke below it.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I mean, it does.
I'm not going to
look
take the trade anyway because I mean it's not an A+ trade probably, so
it looks like a cup and handle. It just didn't respect the parameters. That's all I'm getting at. So
yeah,
let me do it.
That handle's a little bit suspicious too. That handle fell way low.
422. So the measured move would be 422. We'll just call it there. And we'll do create alert. Create.
Yeah, I don't know how liquid the options are on this either. I mean, it could be that there's not much contracts trading on this.
No.
I don't know. I'm going to write it down anyway and follow it.
It's got good open interest. Way out of the money.
What's the IV?
43.
That's not bad.
20,000 at the 26 strike. See that?
Yeah. For puts?
Both.
Oh,
Look, there's
and
20,000
calls.
on this side and there's 20,000 on this side.
Somebody has straddles there. It looks
Yeah.
like
Yep.
26 straddles. Wow, that's interesting. At 26, when would they have gotten that? They must have gotten that right when it.
They ain't closed them yet.
Oh, you know what? I bet you they got the. They've probably been building these straddles while it was in this in the cup, because it was going sideways and flat there for so long. They're probably like, okay, we'll get some straddles for that.
Hmm.
It's either that or when it retested that level at 26. That's why they got 26 straddles. They put them on probably when it was at the money. I mean, that's a huge position. Yeah, see all that trading happening at 26?
Yeah.
And then when it retested it, they're probably like, okay, that's probably when they put it on, when it retested it. But maybe they were accumulating them that whole time.
If they close out their puts, then you know that's the game.
Good call.
They
Good
closed them
call.
out today, but it's not reflecting. It might reflect tomorrow.
Yeah.
Unless they're going to let them go to zero, which would be stupid.
Yeah, they might. People do that stuff with straddles, though.
Because there's no time. There's not enough time.
Yeah. When do they expire?
Monthly OPEX.
Okay. Yeah, only 3 weeks. Yeah, you're right. I don't know why they
Well,
would
these
hang
are
on to
zero
those.
anyway. They're already worth zero. So
Oh, okay. So yeah,
and
they're not gonna close them.
these are worth $5 each. Whoops. So they
You
already
know,
made their
I
money.
wonder. Let's chart that position. Actually, I'm gonna render the chart of it. Oh shoot. I gotta log back into IB
Okay.
because I want to chart that straddle and see what that's done for them.
Okay.
Hopefully, I can get back into IB. Yeah. Okay. Yes, I understand. It is a paper trading account, which I already knew that. Thank you. All right.
Looks like we might have another down day. Nikki's down 210.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Was that like 1% or something?
Close.
OPEX.
0.75. Maybe 0.8.
So you said 26 straddles? Dude,
Yeah.
they probably, if they got these when they were 26, they probably made a lot of money.
Mm-hmm. Well, depending on how much they lost on IV, yeah, I agree.
Yeah. So okay, so here's the deal. If they got them on that pullback on March 25th,
Uh-huh.
they're up over 100% on these on average. They're up around 100%. Pretty good. Yeah, but that's only if they got them on that pullback. If they got them before that, I don't know. Maybe we could tell from the volume on that chart. No, it's not
I
gonna
could
tell
run
me.
it through my on demand tomorrow on my trading app, my trading station. I could
Yeah.
try and figure it out tomorrow. I could just go back in time.
I got you. Well, I do see a bunch of volume back here in like early March. And so maybe that's when they got them. So if they got a lot of them there, those are maybe just barely up.
Early March.
Yeah, so they either got them early March or they got them like March 25th. If the ones they got on March 25th are doing great. It just seems weird to me that they would be in there buying straddles, you know, when the stock didn't even do anything yet, like didn't even make the base.
You know, that's that you know, that insider trading thing that everybody's worried about.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
You know, he told somebody, he's like, "Hey, look, this is what's going to happen."
Yeah, we
I'm
don't
gonna,
know what's going to happen, but something big is going to happen.
yep, I'm going to give you some funds, and you're going to trade this and split, or we'll do a 60-40 or whatever.
Yeah. All right, I'm back to cruising through FinViz, and nothing is jumping out at me yet.
What about, you know, why don't we do our defaults? TLT, gold, and silver.
Yeah, sure. Go ahead. I got your window up.
I just put on a fentanyl patch. I gotta go get something to cover it with. I'll be right back.
Yeah, cool. All right. TLT. I still got the ratio back spread in this. It's in that zone where I'm just eating a lot of time decay right now. So it's good for me if it goes up or down. But if it stays here, that's where I get cut up. And it looks like it's probably maybe forming a bottom here. It's just going to take its time to do it. It's not going to just, you know, bounce like when you're catching a knife or you're in a ratio back spread rolling down. You want it to bounce hard, and you know this is not bouncing as hard as I would like. The 21 EMA was resistance in late March. It bounced right off of that when it hit it. The other time, most recently, when it bounced off of that, respected it in January, right here at near around like the 153, 154 level. And also as it broke down. I mean, normally this thing trades kind of bouncing around between, you know, above that line and below it. And it's just been trending lower underneath all these moving averages for so long. In hindsight, maybe I could have played this better than just like, you know, rolling lower this ratio back spread. I mean, this move has certainly helped banks to do well. If you look at, let's just look at XLF. I mean, yeah, the banks have been strong through a lot of that. But, I mean, maybe just shorting treasuries would have been the move, but I don't like shorting these because if you look through the data, they're just never really down for all that long. And when we zoom out on the monthly, we're pretty much at the target here. If I make these bars smaller and look at more history, you can see that there's a very long uptrend with a 50-month moving average acting as major support level. And it's pretty much there now. It's almost there. So, I mean, shorting this chart, unless you have precision timing, it just never really pays. So
I still like it long.
You like it long?
Yeah, and I think I'm going to take it.
TLT?
Yep.
Want to look at want to cut over to GLD next, or you want to you want to do some analysis on TLT?
No, I just looked at it. I was listening a little bit. I just walked back. I like it. I don't know what I'm going to get in at, but I'm going to have to sell one of my sideways out of my Fidelity account, or maybe I'll buy it in my trade station. But I like this. I like this pullback. I like where it bounced off from. So
yeah, I mean it's certainly down a lot. Let's look at like oversold metrics on this. Like it hit those at the bottom. The daily RSI, it had been under 30. It got as low as like 20 back in this extreme low in late February. And then it bounced. It was a big bounce, like a knife catcher's bounce. And then it continued to trend lower, and then it got oversold again, like a couple of times. And then now on this bounce that we're seeing here, it's not oversold and it's a higher low. And so if we get some strength come in, then probably the low is in, at least for the short term. And it was close enough to that 50-month moving average level that we have been watching on this show for like weeks. That I think this is where we were kind of expecting a bottom to happen. It looks like it's happening. I don't see it shooting the moon in the next few days, but
No, I'd do an OPEX on this.
yeah.
Yeah.
What target?
At the money.
What's that?
What target?
Yeah,
Hold on.
like 140 or something.
Hold on a second. For OPEX, I'd probably go. $142.
Okay, well that's really good for me if it gets to 142 because my ratio back spread is a whole bunch of 141 calls. And
Yeah.
I've got a lot of time on this. I have all the way out to May expiration, by the way. And it's just an open-ended bullish position. Like it's as far as it's going to run by May. If it runs up, it could start making big money fast. But probably above 150 is where I make a lot of money. If it does that in May, then that's fine.
Yeah, 142.
Okay. Yeah, well, I'll be a happy camper if it does that.
I just got to figure out how long it's going to take.
Yeah. The other thing is I would say like you don't have a lot of margin for error on your entry on this. Because like say it's up. Say it has an up candle and you get in and then it has two down candles, you're just going to get creamed.
Well, yeah, you got to pay attention to this one.
Yeah. What would you grade that setup?
Hang on a second. I'm still working it.
Okay, I'm trying to ask that question. I hope you don't find it annoying. If you think it's annoying, I won't keep asking it. But
Nope, I don't find it annoying at all.
It's something that I'm trying to ask myself about setups a lot. And I also don't want people to see something that we talk about in this show and then think that it's a good idea because we talked about it when really it was just like it was something we talked about and it was an idea, but it wasn't like an idea that either of us was excited about.
Right. Wait a minute. I'm having a hard time seeing. All right, so I'm from there, and I'm going to go to there. Okay. So within a 7-day window, the 14th to the 21st. So I would do the OPEX, hope for the best, and if it moves against you, get out.
Yeah. Right. Like I said, two down, if you get in on an up day and then you get two down days in a row against you, you're going to get creamed. So I think you got to cut and run fast.
No. I need to see green candles.
Yeah.
I need to see 3 green candles. 1 red candle, get out. You don't want to see any retracements off of this. You want to see a pop. You want to see a 3-day thrust.
Yeah, got you. That makes sense. I can kind of visualize that on the chart too when you describe it like that.
It doesn't have to get to the target in 3 days, but I want to see a 3-day thrust, and this is day 1.
Yeah.
So tomorrow you're going to want to get in on the open, and the day after that you close at the end of the day or close to the end of the day.
Yeah, and so if it does do that, then it goes along with that carving a bottom hypothesis or theory or whatever that I was describing.
Mm-hmm.
Because what I would be looking for is higher lows and higher highs, a new series of them visible on a daily chart.
Right.
And we already have the higher low. What we don't have is the higher high yet. And so if we get that 3-day 3 green candles pop, that would give us higher low and a higher high, establishing a new uptrend. and then my ratio back spreads might print finally.
You know
I've been
what?
very
I take
patient
that
with this.
Oh wait, it already pulled back. Never mind. Good. Yeah, take it.
I've
I would
probably
say
been more patient than I should have been with this trade, but we'll see. I mean,
it's
it
already
could
pulled
end up
back to
making a lot of money.
135.
Hmm.
It's lost 70 cents in the overnight. It's already pulled back to 135 and a half, so you already got your discount.
Right. So if you get in at the open, you're probably going to get like that a good entry.
Right. And if it goes against you, just get the fuck out.
Yeah. Cool. All right. Want to talk about gold real quick, or do you want to jump to oil?
Either one, don't matter to me.
Okay. Let's do GLD. Oh man, we had talked about this.
Hmm?
We had talked about this. Oh man,
Does
it's
not
so
surprise
ugly.
me.
Whew. I mean, like if TLT's carving a bottom, maybe GLD does too. But I mean, this is just like it looks like it could do a waterfall decline, which would be it would be surprising because it's gold. It's supposed to be like gold bricks are like a staple.
Yeah.
Like when I think of
Well,
investing and I'm thinking like Scrooge McDuck's money bin, I'm thinking like, well, how could gold be going down?
it just looks ugly.
I mean, yeah, almost in a vacuum. You've been saying that too. Every time we look at gold, you're like, oh man, this looks like. I agree with you. It looks terrible. But it is the RSI on the daily is at 31.5. One more down bar, and it's now in oversold territory. And it almost never stays there long. Like if you look at this chart going back, like it stuck there for a little bit in early March and got hammered.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, like it never really stays. It generally doesn't stay oversold for long.
Right.
So I mean, this to me looks more like entry levels or roll down on strikes for my out of the money silver miner shares. It
Right.
looks like that. Like if I want to stick with those positions, probably the thing to do is like roll them down.
Tell you what, gold's going on a discount, that's for sure.
Yeah, it's incredible, man. I mean, I'm thinking about like, well, maybe go buy some gold coins or something.
Nah, it's a gap and go. Not yet.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, it's going lower.
I wonder if somebody's in trouble and they're liquidating gold to help pay for something else.
Could be.
It's got that look to it.
They've been in trouble for a long fucking time.
Yeah, you're right. Well, and so if you look at the RSI, it's never been above that 50 level since January. And
I
it
have
was
a
looking good in
I have a
January. It was
RSI
trading
period
above
than
that 50 level, but not for long.
I have a different RSI period than you, so I don't see that.
Yeah. So when gold is good to hold it, that RSI is like sitting above the 50. It's just like always above the 50. And when it's not good, it gets below it. I mean, that's just like a general guideline that actually seems to work kind of well on gold.
Right. Yeah, my oscillators work a little bit differently.
Yeah, here, let me flip over to your screen. You can talk us through what you're seeing.
Okay.
I mean, gold's probably down 2 or 3% in the overnight session right now. I haven't looked, but
It's 2%.
minus 2%.
Yeah.
So 2% lower than that. It's making a new low.
Well, no, wait, that's the daily. Oh, I'm looking at gold. I'm not looking at GC. Hold on, I gotta pull up.
Right.
Give me 1 minute here. Gold. GLP. Gold is down 0.5%. It's down $7.
Yeah, that's nothing. You can do that
Easy.
easy. Yeah.
But yeah, it's just it doesn't look good at all. It's getting a bounce on the hourly, but I wouldn't even.
Yeah.
That ain't jack. This thing looks
I
like.
mean, it looks like it's gonna be a lot of pain for stackers. I mean, stackers like this though, man. They like it when it's down. They're like, oh, this is great. Like,
Well, if they liquidated at 2,000, yeah, hell yeah, they should love
oh
it.
no, they don't liquidate, dude. They just here's what they do. I'll tell you exactly what they do because I used to do this too. And I think it's a good idea. Is whichever metal is cheaper on a relative basis. Like when you come into some money, when you get some money, you have some winning trades, you get a paycheck or whatever, a stimulus check. You just go and buy whichever metal's cheaper on a relative basis: gold, silver, platinum, palladium. And right
So
now, platinum's the cheapest one, I think.
what's the point if you don't take profits?
Oh, because here's what they're doing that you're not thinking about is, like you're thinking in terms of like you're denominating everything in dollars. Like in your head, you just do it. Like that's
Right?
like cash for you is a neutral position. Like you're neutral when you're in cash. They're
Right.
not. They're not neutral unless they're in gold. They denominate everything in gold price. So
But even if they do that, you can't sell, you can't buy gold with gold. You have to do an exchange at
yeah,
some
so what
point.
they do, Chris, though, is they actually like exchange their silver for gold. Like they'll literally show up to the coin store with a suitcase full of like silver bars,
Mm-hmm.
and they'll say, "I want to trade these for gold."
Oh,
And so you can actually double your money quite easily like that. The way you do it is when the gold to silver ratio is 100 and you're buying silver, and then when it's 50, you show back up with all that silver and you trade it for gold. And now you got twice as much gold as you could have got had you just tried to get gold in the first place. So
interesting.
yeah, so these guys they're really making money doing that. And they'll do it forever. Like they view this as generational wealth. Like they're not trying to get out of it at all. Like they'll never cash out. They just trade one metal for another, and it's an in-kind transaction, which means that they don't have to pay a tax on that, capital gains tax. That's not reported to the IRS as like a taxable event.
Interesting.
Yeah. So it helps to know where the great coin shops are near you that can facilitate this type of thing. In St. Louis, we have such a place.
Yeah, where I'm going, they have a lot of gold and silver shops.
Yeah, it's fun to go in there and hang out. I've done that before. You know, there are people in there behind the counter like grading coins and stuff like that. Anyway, we can move on though. Let's just take a peek at platinum real quick because I'm just curious what that looks like. And then we can look at the gold to silver ratio. Let's actually start with that. Gold to silver ratio is 70. So silver actually fell against gold over the last week. That's what this is showing. It's showing that like when this chart rises, it means that gold is moving up faster than silver, or it's moving down slower than silver is moving down. So that's what this shows. Yeah, that's interesting. Okay, even though gold chart looks really weak, it went down less than silver. Let's look at silver. Yeah, oh gosh. Silver looks like it may be having a breakdown here. But what about the miners?
I didn't like silver last week. I didn't like silver the
Yeah,
week
you called it. You were
before.
like, hey, I'm thinking about going short. That's what you said. And I said, you know, I short this on a short-term basis as well sometimes. I mean, it's at a support level, but it looks like it doesn't want to hold. Yeah, the junior silver miners actually kind of look maybe the best out of all of these.
Like for 2 days. And then I reversed my thesis and went right back to bear.
Yeah. So actually, platinum is looking pretty good compared to gold and silver.
Not for long though. I don't
You
believe.
don't think so?
No. Here, look at this.
I don't know, man. Platinum's like kind of in an uptrend.
I hear ya.
Yeah, here
Sure.
I'm looking though. Yeah, I mean, it's just like it's in a up channel to me.
You see it?
Yeah.
You don't see it yet.
Okay, head and shoulders. It's on the neckline.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, I got you. Yeah, I don't worry about that till the neckline breaks.
Well, it's damn close.
Yeah,
That's why I brought it
it's worth
up.
watching. Yeah, it's you got to be attentive there. Um, you want to flip over to oil now?
Sure.
All right, this is like a bread and butter thing for you. I mean, oil's been really kind of just tame, I would say, for a long time.
Trying to figure out where it wants to go.
Yeah.
But yesterday, we just had a build, or was that today? We just had a build. So I'm not too worried. This is going to break down, in my opinion.
Yeah.
If
So
it
all right.
builds,
So what about XLE though? Is XLE more interesting right now, or do you think that like directional in crude is where it's at?
I think XLE is going to follow crude.
It's gonna what?
Follow crude.
Oh, gotcha.
I don't think they're going to divert.
Yeah.
So I'm looking at an island top here.
Yeah. Any catalysts on your radar? I do see a diamond top there.
A diamond.
Yeah, or like yeah, I see that island top you're talking about. Yeah, it's like a
This.
diamond. Uh, if you look at that gap where the yellow boxes start, there's like a gap between the first two yellow boxes on the right side. You could draw a diamond around.
Here.
Yeah, from there up to the peak, you could draw a diamond around that whole thing there. Yeah, like that. So this is a
Okay. I
diamond
got
top.
you. My oscillator is neutral. I'm bearish. Let me see what the DMI says. The DMI is bearish with a slowing velocity. Squeeze. Nothing. And the ATR trail stop it's still below the ATR trail stop. It
Yeah.
could touch that, but I mean, I don't think it's going to break through. I'm looking for a test here. See it
Yeah.
on the lower on the RSI. And that's part of the reason why I use the 8 period, because the 8 period shows a lot more than the 14, because you can get a congestion like this in the 8 period that you could see, right? And when it
Yeah.
breaks, you just take it.
Yeah. Okay. Pretty cool.
Yeah, that's why I like the 8 period. There's more data in it.
Yeah.
Points.
You know, there are some people that put really short RSIs on their chart, like 2 and 3.
I've never done that.
Yeah, it's because they know the way it behaves in back tests, and they want that specific information.
Okay.
Yeah. So, do you see any
Understand more
catalysts
about
in the energy space? Like for example, like when COVID hit, it's like really bad for oil. When the like pandemics are horrible for the energy markets.
Right.
Now, I mean, it's I don't know that there's like a big fear of new strains or anything. I don't know that that's going to be a driving force in the oil markets. There's the pipeline news, right? What do you think there? I mean, that probably would encourage higher energy prices. Is that maybe why we saw that run up in February and March?
No, I don't know what caused that run up, other than I do. I don't know if you remember, but the financial media outlets were pumping oil. I mean, it was the greatest pump scheme I'd ever seen. But the problem is that it was from broadcast networks.
Yeah.
They were all pumping it up, and they were saying, look, we were right. Well, yeah, if every fucking one of you clowns on Yahoo, Bloomberg, CNBC, Reuters, everywhere you turn, everybody's talking about how expensive oil is going to get. And I'm like, what are you talking about? We're still in the middle of a fucking pandemic.
Yeah.
Who's you?
Well, I think like Biden getting elected was a huge catalyst. If you look on November 2nd, there's that huge candle breakout bar. There's like a runaway breakout that happened. I mean, I think maybe the pipeline did have something to do with that.
Well, yeah, because everybody thinks we're going to freaking war.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So it's not just a pipeline thing. It's maybe. Yeah. You're right. That's now congruent with some of the other things we were talking about earlier. The ITA, defense and aerospace ETF running up, which is full of military contractors. The U.S. Steel, which is ticker symbol X, running up. Yeah. You're right. Okay. And that goes along with your idea about in the Middle East might be where that war might happen.
Right. But if we go to war, then crude will shoot up to 70. If we don't go to war anytime soon, hopefully not ever again, then I'd like to see 35, 30 be the chop.
Okay. Well,
that's what I'd like to see. But for right now, I'm planning on an island top reversal.
I got you. I mean, technical picture, it makes sense. It's also like it's been on such a tear that these things will tend to like chop around and make bases, and they'll reverse on you. I mean, it's overdue for that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I don't see any catalysts to bring it higher. I only see catalysts to bring it lower.
All right. Well, this is probably a good place to leave it for the night. Okay. Otherwise, like I'll miss the open if I stay up much longer.
I might stay awake till the open.
Oh man, you're a trooper.
I might not. It all depends.
Yeah, I got you. All right. Well, hey, thanks for coming on. Probably we'll try and do another one here in a couple of days if you can do it.
Yeah. If you don't mind hearing my son in the background, we're good.
Oh yeah, it's never a problem, man. I mean, I got two boys myself. They'll actually be here.
You're good. My kid's a knucklehead.
Yeah, mine are too. But I'm just so used to the noise that I don't ever even notice when I hear your son in the background because I'm just used to hearing mine.
Right.
So yeah, well, we gotta get them playing Fortnite together.
Yeah, that'll work.
Yeah, I'll text you their info next time that they are over here.
Okay.
Cool. Well, thanks for coming on, Chris. Yeah, for anybody watching, please hit like if you like the video. Help us get the word out about this new show. So share the videos, and you can follow Chris and I on Twitter. I got our Twitter handles on the bottom left of the screen. Also, there is a Trading Homework Spotify playlist link in the description. So you can listen to what I listen to when I'm doing my trading homework. I play it on the show, but I don't want to get the audio cut out on the show because of copyright stuff. Also, there's some links for some videos too about like rolling options and things like that to help understand some of the concepts that we talk about on here. So anyway, thanks for watching. Chris, thanks for coming on. And anything you want to say before you go, go ahead.
Bye.
All right. Cool.
All right, man.
Adios.
All right, bye.